All right, go ahead with your first question.
All right, so my first question is this. So, what's the first thing that you need to learn? Like, what's like the first key steps to what's the first thing that you need to figure out before trading?
Options chain.
Huh?
The option chain.
The option change. So you're talking about like theta, I mean like indicators like Greeks and shit and like all that basically.
Um, no.
What are you
Hold on,
talking about?
hold on a second.
All right, cuz now I'm really going to learn today.
So I'm sharing my screen, and
Let me
you
see.
guys see
Yes, 10-4, 10-4, copy ETA. We can see.
this is an
This
option
is
chain.
shit. What is that?
An option chain.
But like, what is that?
Uh, an option chain.
But like, what is it though? What is an option chain?
It's a chain of options.
Oh my god! I
Um,
just.
it strikes. It's where you choose your trades. It's where you get into positions. It's where you make
Oh
decisions.
yeah, 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 yeah. Of course. Okay, okay. I probably asked the wrong question. Okay. All right. So it's an option chain. Okay. I already know how to set puts and calls and all that. But I'm saying though, I'm saying like, what's like, how do I like look at uh how do I look at a basically a ticker and I'm like, all right, this is the time where I hop in here. You know, this is the time where I succeed. This is the time where I get profits. You know.
That's not an easy question to ask. There's a lot more to it than just saying, "Oh, now it's time to get in. Now it's time to get out."
Exactly, but I'm saying like basically how can you like what's the first all right, so basically, resistance, like how to learn where like resistance is and all that.
What I suggest you do is come up with a strategy,
Yes.
certain type of trading style, and then
Hmm.
formulate what you're trying to do into that trading style. I mean, you're
Okay.
asking a very generalized question. There's tons of different types of trading out there.
Oh, so you want like specific questions. Okay, okay, okay. All right, well, if the next contestant can ask the question, I'm out of here. Thank you, Hostile, for your information.
You're welcome.
All right.
Okay, who's next?
Me, Byron.
Okay,
Hi, how are you?
good.
Nice to talk to you again.
You as well.
Um, I have a question here. The difference of buying a call in the money and also or out the money. I kind of want to know, like, for example, I know when you buy in the money, the delta is higher in gamma, correct? And some people kind of buy calls out the money, so a little higher. Actually, the calls are cheaper. So if the stock start going up, I guess the delta keep changing, right? And the gamma, is that correct?
What all changes as the price moves and fluctuates, and also with implied volatility.
Okay. So do you recommend to buy in the money or out the money? I
Dep
mean, not
dep
far away out the money, but let's
depends
say
on the
if it's
strategy.
okay. All
So
depends on the strategy. Yes.
yeah, it's not as simple as saying you should do this or that with, I mean, number one, there's, look at this for a second on my screen. Okay. Can you
Yes.
see all this right here?
Yes.
Those are all strategies, and all of them are very different.
I barely cannot see. Are you talking about are those the different type of options or?
Yeah. So there's many different types of strategies here.
Is that like is that like a buy a call, put, strangle, and all those different types of options? Is that what you moving there up and down? Because I barely cannot see. I am on my phone.
Um, buying calls and puts is just a single strategy.
Yes. Uh-huh.
That's just one out of all of these strategies.
Okay. But my question was on just buying a call
Buy calls at the money.
at the money, right? Like just below, I will say, like below the strike price, like even at $1 or something like that, right?
So in this current scenario for Apple,
Uh-huh.
right here at 118.75, that's at the money,
Okay.
right?
Yes. That's kind of what I do most of the times. I know they're a little higher than the ones out the money, but now I have another question. Let's see if you are able to answer it. Um, when let's say I buy a call, right, and if Apple go, let's say $3 up and then $3 below the strike price I bought, is the implied volatility I am losing money going up and down the whole day, or will be up at the end of the day about the same? Let's say I buy like at the money at 120 and Apple is at $120 even. So if in one day Apple go up and down 121, 122, and 23, and also 119, 17, 16, and end up at the same price I buy in the morning, do that I lose money with the implied volatility, or I end up even like that?
Implied volatility, you lose money if IV goes down.
But if
If
it
you're buying,
yes, but if go up and down,
stock price
that's
doesn't matter.
oh, okay.
Implied volatility is completely separate from the stock price.
Okay. Yeah, that was my question in there. Uh, can you kind of explain a little bit how the gamma work? How can I do the calculation of gamma?
Um, I think it'd be better for you to look on the education tab and read what gamma means. Let
Okay.
me find that. Hold on a second.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay,
That's
because
fine.
I
Hmm.
don't know how to calculate it without really looking deeply into it and looking at specifics.
Okay.
So
I
that
I was I was studying that yesterday, and it looks like if stock go up, let's say if the delta is, let's say, 50, so if the stock go up like $1, so you are going 50 cents up, and plus whatever the gamma is. I think if it's like 0.2, you add another 2 cents or something like that.
I
But
think the gamma is just the rate of change in the delta itself. How much the delta itself is going to change on that particular strike.
okay, yeah, because I was studying the gamma, and they were recommending if it's kind of better if you know for sure that the stock is gonna go up. You can buy like $1 or $2 above the strike price, that the call will be cheaper, and then you start making, because at the same time deltas are going up, so then you will start making kind of money. But if you're not really sure, then if it start going down, then you start losing money. But
I get a
anyway,
better
yeah.
way for you to determine that instead of looking all the delta and the gamma and all that stuff. You know, you're really making it a lot harder for yourself to get into positions. What you
Okay.
should be doing instead
Hmm.
is, hold on a second. Spread times the
Yes.
delta is the fair price.
Okay.
Okay, so in your scenario, if you're buying a 120 strike, the
Hmm.
spread is showing as 10.1. Okay, point
Okay.
1 times point 44
Okay.
I'm sorry, that's, hold on a second. I always trip myself up here. Hold on. Let me look at my notes.
Okay.
I've got it written down here in my screen, but for some reason, calculations aren't coming out just right. So I need to go back to my notes. There's a way to calculate the fair price of a contract, and you can determine this by a simple calculation. Sorry, just give me 1 sec here. Okay. So it is. So you want to basically subtract the bid and ask. That's your spread. Okay, and then
Okay.
you bring the decimal to the right so that it's a whole number. You multiply the delta as a whole number. Okay, so at the 120 strike, we're looking at $10.44. So 10 times 44, 440. Okay,
Okay.
so in this scenario, as a buyer, you want the current price to be below that number. Does that make sense? So right now it's at
Yes.
You
246.
ready to eat now, Winnie?
Oh,
So
okay.
you want it to be below 440 basically.
Below 440, right?
Yeah.
And are you
That's
talking
the
about?
easiest way to determine if the contract price is a fair price. If you try to go in there and calculate all the Greeks and all that stuff, you're going to make it a lot harder for yourself.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah. I really don't go that far, but I kind of like to know a little bit about, all this, the Greeks, and
so what I would recommend is let's see. What I would recommend is going to the education section and look at the trading terms,
okay,
and the delta or the Greeks are described there,
okay, okay,
and study that, and then
okay,
kind of cross-reference what you're seeing, and kind of look through examples and stuff. That's
okay.
how I'd
Thank you. I have.
recommend you learn the Greeks. And
uh,
as the market opens and you see how the stock price moves, it's going to be hard to really see because implied volatility is something that is kind of undercover in a way. It's like under the radar.
Yeah, yeah.
So
I'm really.
it
Yeah.
makes it a lot harder to really understand why the Greeks do what they do, because you've got stock price, plus you've got implied volatility, plus you have liquidity. Those three things make all of the Greeks move.
Oh, okay, okay. I will do that. I have one more last question. Uh, let's say I buy a call, like, let's say 5 months ago, and I am at the money, like, let's say I'm like $2,000 above now. But when I see the contract, there is like maybe a volume is showing like a two volume, and there is actually about 10 open interest and zero volume. So that means there's not much people interested in that contract, uh, if I am correct. So if I try to sell, let's say if I try to get out that position, will it be that hard, or do I have to exercise that, or how does that work?
It would be pretty hard because there's only 10 people that are currently interested in that position.
Okay, so I have to exercise it, correct?
It depends. I mean, how much time is left on the contract? If you're trying to sell
Le-
it today and it's going up in value, there might be
uh-huh.
more people that are interested in buying it. So open interest just simply means how many people are currently in that strike position with open
Oh,
contracts.
okay. What's the difference between volume and open interest?
Volume is the amount of contracts that were closed out on that strike on today.
Oh, that's on the day, correct? Okay,
Correct.
okay, I got you.
Open interest is the amount of contracts that are open from that strike. It doesn't matter when they opened it. It could have been 3 months ago. It could have been 3 days ago. But that just
Oh,
means that
okay.
there's. So if you're looking at the 120 strike right now, there's 22,806 open interest. So that means there's basically, I'd say 11,403, give or take, buyers and 11,403, give or take, sellers, because the spread's pretty thin. So the closer the spread is, the closer the margin is as far as difference between buyers and sellers. So that basically means
Okay.
you've got that many people that will potentially you'll be able to exit your position because you have a lot of people that are on both
Oh, okay.
sides of that strike, if that
Okay.
makes sense.
Because I have a spy contract that I bought like I think last month, and I pay like I think like I remember like probably $1,600, and I already make like I think it's about $1,400. But when I see there's no much open interest and volume there, I still have like I think like 6 months left on that call. So that's why I was asking the question. It would be better to sell it, or because I kind of sell covered calls
I mean, you can sell
every
it.
week.
I mean, I would set it up as a limit exit order. Um,
Mm.
at least do the midpoint price. What's the ticker?
It's a spy.
Okay, and what's the expiration date?
It's 2021 June, I think. June 2021.
And the strike?
The strike, I think about it at 27 or 26. Uh,
Um,
27 or 26 when the market went down.
that's
327. 327.
327. Okay. So yeah, there's 26 open interest there. I mean, it's gonna be a little tough to get out of that.
Okay.
But you could. Let's see.
So let me ask you this question. Let's say if I don't want to sell it, I want to hold it to, let's say, 3 weeks before the expiration day. Uh,
I wouldn't hold it
can,
that long at all. I would get
what
out
was
of
that?
that. I wouldn't hold it that long. You never ever want to hold a bought position
Okay.
near expiration. Never,
Okay. Okay.
because
So what you
it
recommend, like
decays.
start selling it 2 months before the expiration date?
I recommend you sell it when you got profit,
Oh, okay. Okay.
because every day you don't sell that position, it loses $4 in value.
Yeah, but if I sell cover calls,
Well, the problem is you picked an option strike with 26 open interest.
uh-huh.
It's going to be
Well,
really hard to get out of that.
what when I buy it, they have a lot of more numbers on that. What's higher? But I don't know now. It start going up. I think it's less numbers on the volume and the open interest.
I would try to get out of that, to be honest with you, even if you have to not take as much profit, because it's just going to be hard to get out of a position with such low open interest. So you're going to have to make it a lower price for somebody to buy it.
Okay, I will do that. I guess I'm taking too much of a time. I think you can help the next person, and I'll be here every time they get in and ask a question. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. One other point that I would make is um, make sure that if you buy a long-term position, there's at least 1,000 or 2,000 open interest on that.
Okay. I am into Microsoft like long term, and I kind of want to really keep those long calls. Is that a problem if I want to do that? Let's say I have one for 2023, and I really want to keep it in case Microsoft go up. Do I'm doing the wrong thing in there? Cause I,
I mean,
I think.
I can't tell you if that's a good or bad idea. I mean, Microsoft is going to do what it's going to do, and I can't predict whether or not that's a good position or a bad position, right? So
Okay.
all I can tell you is you don't need to hold that until the expiration date or near it. You need to be out of that when you've got profit. And if you're going to sell covered calls on it, then do it and do it for
Okay.
a year and a half or 2 years until you
Okay.
don't your value is paid for on covered calls.
Uh,
Once you have reached that point, then I'd say it's time to get out of it, right? Or if that, like I was telling you last time, if the covered call
uh-huh.
goes negative on you, that means that position that you're in long is positive. So you need to get rid of both so you don't incur a loss.
Yes. And I'm working on see if I can move. I already have Webble, but I'm working to transfer them there. Um, thank you very much. So I just go ahead with the next person.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, who's next?
I have a
I got a
question.
That was a lot of good information there.
Okay. So it sounded like at least two people had questions, and somebody just said there was good info. I think Money Man, and who else was it? That
I said I got a question, but Money Man, you could go first if you want.
All right.
Sorry, I'm just trying to find out who that was so I can make sure you go next. Who was it?
It's Abdul.
Okay, all right, got it. All right, go ahead, Money Man.
Okay. My question was, what are your predictions on the market this week with Biden winning?
Um, long term, I'm bullish on the market. I think maybe short term we could see a little bit of red this week. But I don't think the market really cares who wins. I said before that I think that if Trump won, the market would rip pretty quickly. But with Biden, I think it's going to be slower movements. And I do think we're
Oh,
going to see some red just because of profit takers. I mean, there's some stuff out there that's at resistance levels. Um, there's potential for it to fall, um, but it's really hard to say. But I am by the end of January, we should see a lot of things breaking through resistance and being at highs, in my opinion.
okay.
And that's just the typical history of November, December, and January. It's bullish.
Okay.
This is the what do you call it? Um, the months where people buy Christmas stuff. So it's typically bullish because of that. And then it starts to lose steam in middle, late January. And then you've got some bearishness through February and March, April-ish. Um, May is a kind of a wild card, but I think June, July, August are bullish. Um, as you guys have seen, September, October, or late August, September, October are typically bearish. So, if you guys can start understanding how the months react, you're going to be a better position to get in and out of positions based off of certain seasonal time frames. Was that your only question?
Yeah, that was it. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. All right, Abdul.
All right, sure. So I got like two questions. So the first one is on iron condors. So I heard a lot of people saying that you should like sell iron condors when the volatility is high. And like in my opinion, I think that like this is risky because like when volatility is high, like the stock is expected to move like a lot, and also like with directional like strategies like a credit like a put credit spreads or uh uh bear credit spread, like you got like indicators that like can help you in the direction. So like you got the RSI, the Bollinger Band, and all that. But like with Iron Condor, since it's like a neutral strategy, like what do you look for? Like is it like, do you like wake up and say, oh, the market is going to be neutral today, or
No.
so
So an iron condor, and you've heard correctly. You sell an iron condor with high liquidity, which means implied volatility is high. And the reason you do that is because you get a higher premium for your positions. Um, what you
But
have
isn't
to,
that risky because like the stock is expected to move a lot since
well, no, I
IV
mean
is not?
so if IV is high, that means liquidity is already in. There's already a bunch of people in the position, right? So when there's
Yeah.
a lot of people in that position, then the volatility slows down. Right?
Oh,
So if it's
okay.
already high, then it's the probability of the volatility increasing is low.
Yeah, so
So
it's gonna eventually like come back down.
yeah, I mean eventually. So if there's high implied volatility, that means there's a ton of buyers in there, and people are going to start selling, and people are going to start shorting, right? And
Yeah.
what I recommend with iron condors is you got to know the range of a stock, right? And what you're trying to do is pin it in between the 2 points. Um, Sometimes it's better to well, first of all, you need to know the trend direction. Okay. Secondly, you need to know support and resistance levels, strong levels. Um, the third thing I'd say is you could split it up and do put credit spreads and call credit spreads separately. And that's all an iron condor
Yeah.
is put credit spread and a call credit spread. Um, if it's at, so let's say the trend is down, the stock is at resistance, you definitely want to sell a call credit spread on that, right?
Yeah.
As it starts to fall, hopefully it does its fall within a week. And then as it gets down to support, you want to get on a strong support level and sell a put credit spread, right? Now,
Yeah.
I don't typically like iron condors unless it's a certain time of the year. Um, and September, October are really good time frames to do iron condors because the market just kind of fizzles out and it doesn't really move so much. IV could be high, but the stock itself might just be going sideways or slightly up or slightly down. Those are the time frames that you need to be looking for doing iron condors. What I suggest is getting good with credit spreads before you do iron condors, because then if you're successful with credit spreads, that's basically an iron condor. So you're able to determine good support and resistance levels, good entry points, and then that helps you see the range on something. So if you can do that
Yeah, it's like the
successfully,
building blocks. Yeah.
right, exactly. So I would start with those.
Mm. I mean, I'm just looking over stuff and like everything now is like super overwhelming. Like you got like all these different strategies. Like uh, it's so complicated right now for me. But I'm definitely gonna check this out.
Well, like I said, I would start with simple stuff. I mean, it sounds like you're into option selling,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and that's a good thing to know, because
Hmm.
if you know how to option buy and option sell, you're better off than those that just know how to option sell. I'm sorry,
Hmm.
option buy. Most people go in and just buy options, right? Not
Yeah.
too many get in here and say, well, I want to start selling options. So being that you're learning both sides, that's going to benefit you in the trading arena. Um, I
Hmm.
would start with put call credit spreads. Sounds like you know the difference between the two.
Yeah.
You said bearish credit spread, which is a call credit spread. Or you could, the way Thinkorswim describes it is a put vertical and a call vertical. But yeah, I mean, if you know the range of a stock, so here's something that I think will help you. If you look on my alert channel, go to the pin tab, or the pin messages rather.
Hold on. Where can I find this?
Well, first I need to know, are you using Thinkorswim?
Yeah, I'm using Thinkorswim.
Okay, all right. So go to the alert section and you'll see hostels info. Okay, and click on the pin, little pin in the top right, and it's going to bring down the pin messages. And what you're going to want to do is import historical implied volatility and implied volatility. These are two scripts that go into the top left corner of the charts. So if you're looking at my,
Hold on, I don't see the like pin, like the thing that you're talking about.
Are you on a computer or a mobile app?
I'm on my iPad, unfortunately. I don't know if that's available.
iPad. I think it should be similar to my iPhone.
Is it like on the top?
Hold on. Okay, so click on the two little people icon on the top right. And then that should bring over a little window, and you'll see search, pins, notifications, and settings.
Oh, okay. There you go. So I can see your name, hostile info.
So just add those two scripts to your Thinkorswim platform, and you are using the desktop version.
Sorry, did you send me something or?
No, you have to get it from my alert channel, from the pinned messages.
I'll try to figure that out. I just don't want to take a lot of like your time. But what do you want me to do next? Like after I get the pinned messages?
So you need to import it into Thinkorswim. If you're looking at my screen right now, you can see in the top left corner, I've got a red and a yellow box. Those are important things to have. So it helps you determine the range
Like,
of the
you
implied
mean the
volatility.
yellow lines, like the white and like purple lines that you have?
No, the very top left corner.
Oh,
See my
okay.
mouse?
All right, I see it.
Yeah. That's going to benefit you a lot more. Well, I mean, that'll benefit anybody that's doing options, but as an option seller, that's going to really help you.
And that is the IV and the
IV rank.
IV rank. All right. Okay.
I don't
I'll
think it's going to work on. I think it needs to be on a desktop application. I don't think you can do it.
Yeah, you gotta open up your desktop to load it in.
And I don't. So mine is on here, but when I go to my mobile app, it doesn't show up on the chart. So I don't think it obviously doesn't propagate. So it only works on the PC side. So I mean, if you've got like a Apple desktop or a Windows desktop, it should work with that. But it's not going to work on a mobile device.
All right. Cool. All right. I'll try doing it from my desktop, and you can like take the next person. If I got any question, I'll ask you. But thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Okay, who's next?
I actually got a question on your SPY chart.
Okay.
Did you draw those lines, those three lines, the one that's above and then the white lines? Or is that like a standard study?
You talking about the purple, green, tan, gray?
I just see. Well, I see like the green ones and the purple, but I'm talking about more specifically the white lines or the white like dotted lines. It's kind of like blurry on my screen.
I'm not sure. Like, I don't have any white lines. I've got tan lines and I've
Oh,
got
it might
gray
be 10.
lines.
Yeah, the 10 and the gray line.
Okay, that's standard deviation channels.
Okay.
Those are indicators, chart indicators.
Okay.
If you're curious on how to set that up, also found in the pinned messages on my alert section.
Yeah, I can look it up. I actually had another question on Spy. Like, so Tilio on Friday we were playing Spy, and like it was kind of just choppy all day and staying like pretty neutral at 350. And then right around power hour, he called that it was about to drop, and then he like said that it was gonna drop to about I think he said 349.40, and like a couple minutes later, it dropped to 349.40, and I was trying to figure out how he predicted that it was gonna drop to that price level.
I can't answer that, unfortunately. You're gonna have to ask Tilio that one. I don't know how, like, his trading style is very different from mine. So how he does things is not how I do things. So I can't answer that, unfortunately.
Okay.
I'm more of a swing trader. He's a day trader, scalper.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, who's next?
So will GDX finally make moves?
Hope so. It's breached a resistance level, stayed above it. Its next resistance level is going to be somewhere around 42.66 ish. Let's see, 60. Let's say 42.50 area. 42.60 is next resistance level. What you got to look for is, so if you're looking at my screen right now, I'm going to draw a couple of things. This area here, wait, let me draw the resistance line first. Okay, that's a resistance line that it broke through. It broke through it on Thursday, stayed above it on Friday. Okay, that's an indicator that this is bullish and it's going to continue. Okay, it needs to break through, let's say this area, which is 42.71, to continue north, and then it needs to break through 43.47 to keep going, and so on and so forth. 44.11 is probably the next one.
But I know you trade like standard deviations, but once it starts reaching that resistance, how much of a pullback do you see happening from each resistant level?
Not a lot.
Because I know it consolidated around the 40 area for a while, like the low 40s.
I mean, if it breaches a resistance level and stays above it, doesn't come back down, it's going to continue up, right? It might have some. I mean, if you look at the current situation, okay, it breached this resistance level on Thursday. Okay, it had its pullback, so it hit a high, had some pullback, and then went back to kind of a neutral position as far as the day goes. That to me is bullish. It has to fall below this resistance line with the pullback for this to not be to stay bullish. But because it bounced off of that, so you can see here when it breaches resistance, resistance becomes support if it's bullish. Okay, and that's exactly what happened here. So let me zoom in a little bit further. 10 days. So you can see here it bounced off of it once, twice, 3, 4 times. And I could argue a fifth time because this point is pretty close. So let's just say it bounced off of it 5 times. You know, it breached it Thursday, stayed above it. After hours, it fell, bounced off of that resistance level, which became support. Bounced up, hit a high, fell again, hit the support level, right? And then it went neutral. So for the day, 48, 41.81 down to what's this? 40.98. So almost $1. Ended for the day right at 41.44. So literally right in the middle. That's neutral. That gives me confidence that this is bullish. You could trade off of that potentially. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, Astat.
Yep.
I wasn't able to like look it up on my PC, but I saw that you sent like a message on I think it was October 2nd, and it says my implied and historical volatility, and I think it was like a link to like Thinkorswim. So is that what you wanted me to like find, or?
Yeah, so you need to copy and paste that link, and
Mm-hmm.
on Thinkorswim, there's a button in the top right corner that says Setup,
Okay.
and then there's the second item down says Open Shared Item,
Mm-hmm.
and then you're gonna put that URL in, and make sure it should say from, and then my Thinkorswim name, which is like Hesitant Trader. I need to change that. That's like 10 years old. But so once you add it in, then you go to the indicators, or I'm sorry, the studies, right? And then once you're in studies, you edit studies, go to the top left corner, and search from. Okay, you type in from, and then it's going to show you
Your
what you
username.
just imported.
Damn, this Q&A still going on.
This Q&A goes on for a few hours.
Holy shit. All right.
So, you got that, Abdul?
Yeah. All right. Awesome.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, who's next?
Hey, so like how far do you think it can go during this run? Like, do you think it can like go around 60? Because like looking at what happened in 2008, like now would be the time where it would have a next leg up, right?
I think GDX is going to break all-time highs.
Yeah, yeah, I'm thinking like it should go at least like 60 soon, I think.
I don't know if I would say soon, but within the year, perhaps, yeah. I mean, I
All
definitely
right,
see it breaking 45.78 for sure. In the
all right.
next 2 or 3 months, I guess, is probably a fair estimate.
Yeah, I'm already up like 50% on those 2023 $60 strike calls. So I was just thinking, should I sell it now, or I think I'll just wait because
I
this is
would
long.
hold it. I would
Yeah,
definitely hold that. As long as you got open interest there working for you. The precious metals market is in an uptrend. It has been since COVID lows. And now that they've been printing trillions of dollars, it's only up from here.
yeah. I think if the stimulus gets announced, like sometimes next year, I guess I think this will rip, right?
Yeah, could potentially for sure. I mean, they're printing more money.
Yeah, all right. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome. Okay, who's next?
Hi, how's it going?
Pretty good.
I had a question about the different platforms. So, which platform gives you the most amount of time to be able to trade options?
What do you mean a most amount of time? I don't understand your question.
It's my understanding that there's one of these platforms that you can still sell your options like 15 minutes after the market close.
Oh, Thinkorswim.
Thinkorswim.
I'm not sure about Webull or others. I know for a fact Thinkorswim.
Okay.
Like I've traded SPY specifically 15 until 4:15 p.m. Eastern time.
Okay. Cool. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay. Who's next?
I got a question.
Okay.
Can you explain futures and like how they predict the market?
I don't think futures do predict the market.
All right,
Personally.
can you tell me like how do they correlate to the market then? Like I see people in like the chat talking about futures and stuff. So like how does it correlate to like actual market hours?
I wouldn't say that it does. I mean, futures, you can trade NASDAQ futures, SPY futures, Dow futures. You can trade silver futures, gold futures, soybeans, cow or cattle, wheat, copper, things like that in futures. Now, some people believe that it has some kind of bearing on how the market's going to react the next day. But I don't think that's a good way to use futures. Matter of fact, I don't think futures is good at all to use, frankly, because I think it's more of a trap than anything. I've seen it go really green after hours, and the market opens red. So if you're trying to use that as some form of an indicator, I would not.
Okay, thank you. So like when people are saying like futures are up, you shouldn't necessarily like you take it with like a grain of salt. You know,
Yes.
like all right, I got you. Okay, thank you, man.
You're welcome. Okay, who else? Who else has questions?
If nobody have a question, I have another one.
Go for it.
On the cash, Webull cash account. Let's say if I got $10,000 in, and I want to do, let's say I want to do day trade options. So if that will give me enough for, let's say, $500 each trade. That will give me enough for like at least 30 of them. Is that correct?
10,000 divided by 500.
Is that how that works? So let's say the money that I use on Monday, let's say I use $5,000. That money will be available on Wednesday. Is that correct?
Something like that. It's 24 to 48 hours to settle. I'm not totally sure. I don't use Webull, so I can't tell you for sure on how long it takes to settle. But it's something like that. You could ask VCAV AK. You can ask any support member. Joe,
Okay.
he uses Webull, so he could probably tell you 100% sure.
It usually settles the next day.
Oh, the next day?
Yeah, it usually settles the next day, your cash.
Oh, okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Who's next?
Hey, Hasta. I'm in Tilio's hedge with SPY calls and SQQQ calls. Do you recommend cutting the SQQQ calls at open and taking profits on SPY later on throughout the day, or should I average down my SQQQ calls with the profits from my SPY call?
I would not average down on hedging. Hedging, you're meant to lose.
Okay, so then cut my losses for SQQQ and take profits later on in the day with SPY calls.
Depends on your expiration date.
They're both 11/20.
I definitely would not average down on SQQQ. I would say that if SPY pumps, take the profits. Hope that it pumps in the morning and then it has some form of retracement. Hope that implied volatility climbs for SQQQ. That's going to get you closer to a fair number. Let's see. Yeah, SQQQ is at 20% IV rank, so you got an 80% chance of it going up in implied volatility.
Okay, so you're saying don't cut right at open. Wait for IV to increase throughout the day.
Hope that IV increases. I mean, I can't tell you that it's going to. What I can say is, so you have two sides to a position basically, and you want to take profit on one, and then hope that it comes backwards, and then you can potentially take profit on the other. You're basically doing a strangle or a straddle, depending on how close to at the money you are. But that's basically what you're doing here is a straddle or strangle. So I think a strangle is much closer to at the money, whereas a straddle is further out of the money. But it's it's basically a put and a call. So you're hedging one side or the other.
Okay. Yeah, these are out of the money. I think further out of the money. 20 SQQQ calls and 360 SPY calls.
Yeah, I would say if SPY hits 360, get out. And then it's going to start falling again. And then at that point, that's when you need to be looking to get out of the SQQQs.
Gotcha.
So you don't want to get out of the SQQQs when SPY's at a high. You want to wait till SPY bounces off that high and falls. And then that's when you should start seeing IV build for SQQQ.
All right. Gotcha.
When did you get into that?
I got in Friday right before market close.
Well, you got enough time, at least. Let's see.
I have one contract of the SPY call and 3 of the SQQQ calls.
So I'd say by Thursday you're going to start really seeing theta become an issue for your contracts.
Okay, but I don't really think I'll be holding till then.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I would definitely take profits when if SPY hits a high, you take profits. I don't really like doing SPY because it's very emotional. That stock or that ticker symbol is an emotional ticker symbol. What I mean by that is it reacts very it's very touchy to news. It's very touchy to all these 500 different tickers that are inside of it. It reacts to all of that. So it's a little bit harder to play that.
Are you talking about trading in general or specifically swinging SPY?
Well, just in general with SPY, it's very touchy. So that's why I personally don't really care for it. I mean, unless you're ready to ride a roller coaster. Otherwise, I would say the SPY is kind of dangerous.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, who else has questions? Anybody?
Alright, so I got the IV and the historical IV, but I don't get, like, how would you use a historical IV?
So historical IV is kind of acts like a range indicator. So it basically tells you over the last 252 days of the trade, the last 252 days of every trading day is calculated, and it gives you an average, which is your rank. And that rank basically says, like SPY right now is at IV rank 22. So what that means is probabilities, it has a 78% chance of going up in implied volatility. If it's at 80%, it's got an 80% chance of falling. That number can never be anywhere other than between 0 and 100. Current IV can be all over the place. 0 being the bottom. I've seen it as high as 400 in some scenarios. Hamza, can you please mute your mic?
I mean, it's starting to make some sense. Like, so
without knowing some sort of a range, you don't really know what's high or low implied volatility.
okay, so you just use it as like, what do you call it? Like,
so here's an example, Tesla. Okay, Tesla, I'm used to seeing Tesla over 100. I've seen it at 200.
by the way, I cannot see your numbers on your screen. It's a little bit blurry on my end, so.
Yeah, I can't help you with that, but I can tell you Tesla right now is at 19% IV rank. So that means it's low. Even though current IV says 64, which could be a high for some stocks, for Tesla, that's low. Okay, so with Tesla, it's got an 81% chance of going up in implied volatility. Even though it's at 64 implied volatility, it has an 81% chance of going up.
And what's the IV rank for Tesla, the historical
19.
IV? So isn't that like high compared to the like historical one? Like, because it says 64 right now.
I'm not sure what your question is. I'm going to repeat what I said though. IV rank is a range, 0 to 100. When IV rank is below 50, so in this case at 19, it's got an 81% chance of going up. When IV rank is at 80, it has an 80% chance of falling. And then when you look at the current IV, even though it says 64, it's got an 81% chance of going higher. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense now. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Ostai.
You're welcome. Okay. Who's next?
So how do you import from your? I guess I have to be logging in Discord group, right, to import that to Thinkorswim. Is that I'm trying to find here how do I import it?
Well, you need to be on Thinkorswim, number one.
I am already on Thinkorswim. Yes, I am there.
So just go to my alert channel, look at the pinned messages, and it's on
Okay.
there. You can download it. You can get the link from there.
How do I download it? I just copy and paste it, or?
Yeah, you're going to copy and paste it and then import shared item on your Thinkorswim platform.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Who's next?
Can you check a ticker for me?
Sure.
TTCF. I have a call at 22.5.
Well, I don't know anything about this ticker, but it looks like it's an uptrend, and you have chosen a pretty decent resistance level as far as that ticker goes. I probably would have went a little closer to at the money. Let's see, what expiration are you on?
Let me check. 11:20.
And you said 22. It must be 22.50.
Yeah, 22.50. Yeah.
Okay. Well, at least you got a lot of good implied volatility. There's what was the stock price when you got into that position?
I can check right now.
You can tell me what time and day you got in.
Got it October 29, 12:07.
Looks like somewhere around $18.
Just about.
Okay, so then you're up.
Yeah. I'm up. I'm only up like $13 or something.
It looks like you're in a decent position.
Definitely hold.
I would have went with closer to at the money because you got open interest there. So for future reference, same open interest relatively. I would have
Okay.
went for the 20 strike,
Okay.
and you'd be up probably double that or triple that number.
Okay.
Did I answer your question?
No, yeah, you did.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, who's next?
Yeah, so
Hey.
I got a question about Snap. So I got in with like Snap puts for like on Friday. So what do you think about that? Like, is it like should I like hold on to it or should I cut it?
Trey Ireland, can you mute your mic, please? Thank you.
Hello?
So that one breached highs.
Yeah, that did. Yeah, so that's why. Yeah, I should have kind of waited on it probably for this week.
What's
See
your
how it's
expiration?
gonna go. 27 November.
So your weeklies.
Yeah.
Strike.
43.
43 put.
Yeah.
I got 197 contracts there open. It's not a great, not very
Yeah.
great. I would recommend not ever doing weeklies unless it's like, you know, something you're going to scalp. And in that scenario, front week, not something further behind. Weeklies tend to not have a lot of open interest. So that's important to make sure that you have on your side, right? That way,
Yeah.
let's just say for example, this goes completely against you, and let's say you're down to 30 or 40% total value, and you want to get out.
Yeah.
You can't. It's going to be hard. Right? So let's say you just want to cut your losses at 30 to 50%, basically. It's going to be hard for you to do that when it's going up. Nobody's going to want to
Yeah.
buy that position, unless it hits a resistance point. And at this point, there is no resistance. What I can do, though, is draw some Fibonacci to get some kind of general idea on where this thing
Yeah.
might go. Oops.
Because I know it broke resistance on the new high.
I mean, it looks like the next point potentially. I mean, this is 161, so 50% is going to be in between. Let's see, 11.8% lower. So we're going to say 50% is going to be somewhere around $48. 20%, 20, I guess 23% is going to be somewhere around 46.80. So 46.80-ish, 48 are going to be two resistance levels, and then finally 49.24. And those are ballpark numbers because it doesn't give me but the 168 or 161.8. If I draw it the opposite direction, you can see the numbers that it gives. See, like 23.6, and then 38%, 50%, 61%. So those are kind of the numbers I was guesstimating. I was doing the 15 to 23. I don't particularly like the 38. It's a pretty weak level, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Mhm.
I don't know what to tell you as far as to get out of that. All I can say is it broke resistance and did it with some strength.
Yeah.
That's just hope that it falls. Hope that it hits some form of resistance and starts falling, and IV climbs. You need IV to climb to gain back some of your loss. So I'm pretty sure you're at a loss right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I am. Because like if I would have waited, like I might have not just gone for it. Then it broke the resistance right after when I got. It wasn't like a good call, so that's why I was trying to see like if I should have just cut my losses and then, or should I just hold on for now, see how it goes.
What's your loss?
See, now I'm at 180.
Percentage loss.
Percentage is, I'm just logging it. It's 12, sorry, it's 23, oh yeah, 23.
23% loss?
Yeah.
That could be a good cut.
Yeah.
Could be. I mean, what I would hope in your scenario is that it goes red in the morning.
Yeah.
Then you get out with like a 15% or a 10% loss. Hope that implied
Yeah.
volatility climbs during the loss or during the fall.
Yeah.
And then get out as quick as you can. Get
Yeah,
it
yeah,
while it's going
that's
down.
yeah, that was my plan. That's why I just wanted to get that kind of confirmation, yeah, to see like, if it just, yeah, if it falls in the morning, then I can, and the implied volatility goes up, and then I can get out of it.
Something else you could do is when it falls and you get out, turn around and buy calls.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much. That should have been actually in the first place. Yeah, no, I should have bought probably the calls, yeah, instead of that, and we won't be able to be talking about this.
But it's not easy to say that we're going to be green tomorrow or red tomorrow. There's a likelihood of either. Um,
Yeah, because I've been hearing a lot of news, right? Like about the COVIDs and like the cases going up. So it's kind of unpredictable to just to kind of like predict like what's gonna be, what's gonna be. So
yeah, unfortunately, the market right now is just so unpredictable that there's no way. I mean, chart analysis, technical analysis, fundamental analysis, it's a wash. There's not too much that you can use right now except for I think like what Tilio does is daily movements. It picks
yeah,
resistance and support levels for daily movements. That's about as reliable as you can get. I mean, I can show you long-term stuff, 2 or 3 months. Those are reliable, but anything in between those 2 points, a daily scalp and a 3-month chart, it's hard to say. It's really tough. Before this market, I
yeah,
could tell you a month out, okay, it'll probably do this. And
hmm,
majority of the time I was right. I wouldn't say all the time. I mean, um, let's say, 80, 90% of the time, I usually made the right choices on my swings when it was a 30-day play. Um,
yeah,
but when I've been trying to do 30-day plays now, it just doesn't do what I expect. So
yeah,
I can't wait for this COVID thing to be a thing of the history
yeah,
and get back
same,
to my
yeah.
normal trading.
Get Yeah, exactly. Get some normalcy back into the market. Yeah, it's true. So yeah, like so what can you suggest about like long-term trades? Like, what do you like kind of which stocks you look at for that? Like, do you have any
I like
like
Tesla,
long-term trades? Okay.
Tesla and Apple. I mean, Tesla's
Okay.
kind of, I mean, it hit a low. I mean, it missed the good low to get into at 379.
Yeah.
But it's really going to depend, right? So if Tesla breaches this high,
Hmm.
460, well, if it continues up and then breaches this high, it's totally bullish. But if it bounces somewhere here, or rather, let's see, let me just go further out. So it breached. Okay, let me go further in. So I'm gonna draw a couple of points here.
Yeah.
It breached this resistance level. In fact, let me clear these and then start over.
Yeah.
Okay, it breached this level. Its next level to breach is going to be
Yeah.
right here. Okay, and then the next level is going to be right there.
Okay.
And then here, and then here. Okay, so if Tesla, number one, it has to go above where its most recent resistance level, which is 437.73. Okay, it's got to
Okay.
get through that before it can test this next one up, which is 445.76 ish. That's a general
Okay.
averaged area between two resistance points. That's how I got that. All right, same
Yeah.
thing with this
Hmm.
one is a general averaged area between two resistance points at 461.45. I try to generalize them and average them out so you can see here these two ovals for this top one here. I got wicks
Yeah.
on this side and bodies on this side. So what I did was did the top of the wicks and I tried to get it, as high up on the bodies here as I could. That's an average
Okay.
between the two. basically.
Yeah.
So that's how I got that. Same with this, right? This one right at the very top of the wicks, and then
Yeah.
this one, it's kind of in the bodies a little bit. So it's hard to pinpoint something specifically. If you
Yeah.
try to pinpoint each individual area, you're just going to end up having 100 different support and resistance levels, and I don't like that. I like just to kind of average out as many points as possible across one specific area and then stick it right in the middle of it, right? And that way I know that particular spot is the strongest spot of all of those similar levels, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Yeah. It breaks it down. It makes it quite like straightforward as well, as you said.
Right,
So
yeah. It's just easier to see and read,
yeah,
and it makes it
exactly.
more. It makes it stronger, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, it does. Cause like then, yeah, cause you're right there at that resistance. Like, you're not like pinpointing, like, as you said, you're going to different resistance levels, right? In the same kind of like resistance there. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what I recommend. I like Tesla a lot long term, especially now that Biden is quote unquote the presumptive president. This should be good for renewables. It should be good for EV companies. So we'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
And also, I would say, like, even we'd suggest for the cannabis as well. Would be good for that as well. You see some growth in there.
Could be. I think cannabis has a long ways to go. You need every state to legalize
Yeah.
it before cannabis becomes a real thing, right? I mean, it's only, I think it's like 13 or so, 14 states maybe that have legalized it, and only a
Yeah,
few
yeah.
have recreationally legalized it. So,
Mhm.
that's something that I would say um, it's going to take some more time for that to become mainstream in the sense like cigarettes,
Yeah.
like where you can go buy it in a gas station when you stop for gas. I want a pack of
Oh,
weed, rolled up joints.
yeah. True. Yeah, that's quite a long way away, I guess.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And at that point,
Yeah.
you'd probably want to pay attention to Altria and Philip Morris, which are the premier cigarette companies,
Okay.
because they're gonna want to get a piece of that pie, believe me.
Oh, yeah.
All these other little companies out there that are cannabis, they're gonna be made or broke within a certain time frame, whereas Altria and Philip Morris, they're really part of the market, like heavily, and really good stocks. Like MO is one of my favorites, which is Altria. I mean, I really love MO. Like I told people to get in MO at 37, and it
Yeah.
fell some more, right? So um, let's see, is it 37? I think it was
What's the ticker for that? MO?
MO Altria.
Okay, I got it.
I think it was 37, and then it fell down here to 30, 36, just under 36, and I doubled my position, and then it ripped up, did a 50% retracement, and then watch tomorrow. It's going to break this resistance level, or in the next few days, it's going to break 39.12.
Oh.
I strongly believe that. So, I mean, this stock I've traded for years, and
Yeah.
I've always had luck with it, just because
Mhm.
it's a solid company. It pays really good dividends. Um, it's something that's pretty decent for long term, and I think they're also very well positioned for the cannabis market when it does become a mainstream thing like cigarettes and alcohol, for example.
Yeah.
It will sometime soon in the future. I don't think in the next, I don't think during Biden's presidency it's going to happen, but within the next decade, marijuana is going to be completely legalized across 90% of the country.
Mhm. Yeah.
I
That
think
could
only
happen.
like very, very Republican states, conservative Republican states, probably won't see it. Like Utah, Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri,
Yeah.
Places like that. Um,
Yeah, but
but
it'll
I
be
don't know. I
different
mean, I
next
could
year.
be wrong. I think it's legal in Alaska, and that's a Republican state for the most part. Like they've always elected Republican governors and have been a red state for most of the time. Florida, they're kind of a swing state, but they've been red
Yeah.
for the past, I guess since Obama.
Yeah.
I even think Mitt Romney won Florida back in 2012, so it's a swing state since 8 years now.
Yeah.
But they are, I think they at least they are medicinal use, so they
Hmm.
decriminalized it, and it's no longer a class one felony type thing like heroin and cocaine.
Yeah. They are kind of on board.
Yeah, and like
Yeah.
North Carolina, they're generally in the past have been a red state, but it kind of flips back and forth between red and blue. And I think recreational use is starting. I mean, I'm sorry, medicinal use is going to start hitting the state legislature. They've CBD is legal,
Yeah.
so it's only a matter of time.
Hmm. True. Yeah. But yeah, I'll keep an eye out on those ones as well. So you said you day trade MO as well, like, or you just do it for the long term?
Oh no, I do everything short term. I don't really like long term. Although I mean, I like Tesla and Apple long term just because they're outperforming stocks. Um,
Yeah.
MO is a really good outperformance stock. I mean, it travels in a range though. This is a very range bound stock. I mean, if
Okay.
you look at the history of this, let's just go back 10 years. Um, it's obviously there's a downtrend here, right? But
Yeah.
it's got a nice range throughout the year. It travels between a range, right? So it
Hmm.
had
Yeah.
its whole up year, or its upside from what's that 2011. Let me go back further. So I mean, it looks like since 2016, it's just been going down, actually.
Yeah.
Wow. But some point here, even if it continues down, it's gonna bounce back up, in my opinion.
Hmm.
I just don't see
Yeah.
Altria going out of business ever. Same thing with Philip Morris. I mean, look at them,
Okay.
and they got the same trend here. So Philip Morris has only been around. Oh, that's weird. It's only showing me since 2008. I know they've been around for a long time. They do Marlboro Reds. My dad used to smoke those back in the late 80s, early 90s.
Oh yeah. They've been
Yeah, they've been around
for a
for a
long time.
while.
Yeah. They've been around.
But like I said, I like Altria better than Philip Morris.
Hmm.
But they're basically the same thing. But you know, Altria does Newports and Camels. I think Camels. Philip Morris does the Marlboro Reds and the whole Marlboro thing. So
Oh, okay. Yeah, they got a big piece, I guess, big pie of the cigarette industry, I guess, both those companies. Like
yeah, both
basically
of
the
them.
two.
I don't think there's anybody else out there that has any kind of foothold in the nicotine market.
Yeah. Hmm. Shit. Hmm. Yeah, I'll keep an eye out for ammo. Yeah.
Definitely range bound stock, man. I mean, look at this. See how it trades here since
Hmm.
COVID. I mean, it does this.
Oh
So okay.
yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Perfect. Yeah.
do you have any more questions?
That's it. Yeah. So I'll just kind of see like how kind of snap goes tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, thanks for the hope.
All right, you're welcome. Who's
Hey,
next?
hey, you think Tesla can go back to like 460 next week?
Hmm. Let's see.
Yeah, I just got some in the money.
It's potential.
Yeah.
There's potential. It's if it breaches 445, 460 is next.
All right. I'll keep a lookout for that.
Okay. All right. Who's next?
Hey, Hostile. I got a question, but I also wanted to provide some information. It looks like Altria invested big in Kronos, which is a cannabis stock.
Okay, that's good to know.
And my question's also around Altria, or more specifically, like building a long term dividend portfolio. I just wanted to know what your thoughts were on that and if you had any stocks you like for the long term. I'm looking at Altria, CenturyLink, and Palantir.
CenturyLink's a pretty good one. I did that. That was a one that I did as far as dividends in the past. Like I said, man, I'm not really a dividend investor. I don't like doing dividends. I can return a lot more money than doing dividends. So I personally don't like doing it. Let's see. Waste Management is probably a decent one. Lockheed Martin. I would say Exxon, but they've been really doing terrible lately. So, and especially, well, here's the thing with Biden becoming president, oil is going to suffer short term. But when the price starts going up, you're going to see Exxon and the like go up in value, I think, because ultimately, as price goes up, supply, well, supply and demand, right? I mean, we're going to probably not be, he's going to probably shut down a lot of the American energy industry, and we're going to be importing more, so there's going to be more demand, less supply from all these other countries that have it, where it's like their backbone industry. Like, Russia, Saudi Arabia, and company, they're going to be exporting more of it because we're not going to be producing as much of it. So that's going to be beneficial to Exxon, frankly. So that's kind of my prediction as far as oil goes, and whether or not one of those are going to be a good investment for you. But personally, I don't like oil anymore. But it could rip. That's the thing. It could rip. So it's hard to say. I can't think of any other off the top of my head. Maybe Intel, but again, Intel, they've been lackluster lately. Kind of a disappointment. Company's been really strong for years, and then AMD finally starting to take a lead, I think.
I agree. So those are like the main stocks you'd recommend for holding for like 10 years.
Again, I don't like holding things that long. So because I don't hold things that long, because I don't trade that way, I wouldn't recommend it. But I think they're good stocks. They've been around a long time. I would suggest looking into stuff that's been around a really long time and that's undervalued. All right, so look at earnings per share and PE ratio and those types of things for if you're going to be in something for a long-term position, find out what's undervalued that pays dividends.
What do you think about Baba, Alibaba?
Amazon competition, China. I don't really trade them. Matter of fact, I've never traded them, so I don't really know too much about it, to be honest with you.
Okay, thanks.
Welcome. Do you have any more questions, Launderer?
No, man. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Who's next?
I have a question. Have you heard of the stock Switchback Energy or the company?
I have not.
Okay. So they're a SPAC, special acquisition. So company. So they acquired this ChargePoint IPO. I guess it technically. I don't know if it's considered an IPO at that point, but they acquired ChargePoint. They shot up a little, and I'm wondering if people are saying, like cannabis and electrical vehicle related stocks will shoot up a little. I'm not sure if whether or not that also would mean the same thing for like something like Switchback or something maybe like lithium stocks as well. Would that also drive prices of
Could
not
be,
prices
yeah.
okay.
It could be, yeah. I mean, it'll affect the supply, right? I mean,
Right.
if EV vehicles are being produced more, everything that's involved in that production is going to be affected.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure that I've made a good investment here. I've got a bunch of SBE, and then I bought some PLL a while back, but already sold that off.
Just make sure you
But
don't go too heavy in any one position.
Right. Well,
And the
thank you.
industry. You're welcome.
Okay. That's a good point too.
Okay. Who else has questions? I'll be right back. Just give me like 2 minutes. I need to get some water.
Thank you very much for your great information. Thanks.
All right, I'm back. Anybody else got any questions?
What do you think about GameStop?
Whoa, what is it about GameStop?
What do you think about it?
I think GameStop, they just had that partnership with Microsoft, I believe, or something with Microsoft.
I feel like they have a lot of good things going for them right now.
They've been underwater for a while, so I'd approach that with caution.
Yeah, maybe not anything super long term.
Definitely not, because it's still a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
It's not like it's when you see they used to be up here at $46, and they actually started losing value sooner than that, or before that, I believe. Let's see. Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, 2012 was the time I was gonna say. So yeah, I'm right. Well, at least what I was thinking was kind of there. But they've been falling since 2013, and they really started tanking here the last few years because you know the whole internet industry and downloading games, and you don't have to go to the store anymore to buy games. One thing you got to go to GameStop for is to buy a console, and then you can download it from your console. So, you know, that's one of those things, right?
Yeah, it was more. I guess you're more of a swing trader, right? You're looking for longer term value.
Well, I'm looking for. I want to be in something for 30 days or less, preferably a week, if I can help it.
Okay.
But lately, it has been working that way, unfortunately. I mean, the positions I'm in, I'm kind of just stuck at the moment. I gotta wait for some of them to come back. They're starting to. That's the thing, this is the beauty about being in 10 or 15 plus positions is it kind of gives me a general broad look at the market without having to look at the market. I can just look at my positions and say, all right, this industry's down, this industry's down, this one's up, this one's up, et cetera, et cetera. You know, I know that once everything starts to come back to green, that's when I'm going to start unloading the positions that have been green, if that makes sense. So the ones that have been green for a little while now, like I just got a handful of them that became green. I've had a couple that have kind of been fluctuating between green and red as far as realized profit. Once they all go back to green, I'm going to unload 90% of them. Because I know at that point, the market, there's a high probability the market's going to start falling again and do its roller coaster moves.
So, I'm kind of getting into Thinkorswim also. Are these like scripts that you have, like these standard Eve channels?
No, that's a standard indicator you can add to your chart.
Okay. And what about this wedge?
That's something I drew.
Okay. So none of that wedge, I guess, specifically was coded then. It was
No,
more.
no.
All right, well, I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Okay. Who else?
I have another if nobody else does.
Hi,
Go ahead.
hi. This is Sai. So, do you have any thoughts on Apple Call? Apple Call, because I bought Apple Call, triple 117 call, which expires on December.
I think it's gonna go up past. I mean, it's broke through resistance. It's above resistance, the first resistance point. The next one is going to be around 120 area, 121. And I frequently see it having trouble getting there, but I think moving forward, we're going to see it potentially get to it and go through it. And then it's going to hit its next point, which is 126 area. I'm kind of like Tesla and Apple look almost identical on the chart. So
Thank you.
that's kind of how I'm looking at that. You're welcome. Go ahead, Nero or Niro.
Yeah. So I don't know if you've paid attention much to the Nokia stuff because I'm new to this group, so I don't really know anyone here yet or what they're into, what kind of markets. But I was wondering what do you think of the quarter four Nokia? Like, do you think they'll perform better than they did this earnings? They really got destroyed. Well, not destroyed, but they did a lot worse than I thought they would. And like with all of their new markets coming up, like what they're doing in the future, I figured that they would do really well, but I'm not sure why. Like, I guess I have higher hopes than I should. But do you
What's the
think you could
ticker
help me
symbol?
understand? Nokia.
Are you in a call?
No. Well, actually, wait, hold on. I do have a call. Actually, I have equity and call. No, I don't have equity. That's right. Last week I sold that off. Yeah, I've got I had a $5 call way before. I thought their quarter three earnings would do really well, and it did terribly compared to what I expected and the average expected of other analysts.
Well,
Yeah, so
it's not terrible as far as
well,
earnings
so
goes.
I think what I was seeing was that they were going to do so back in quarter three of last year, which obviously like you can't rely on past performance. I just expected more growth this year because of the 5G network stuff that they're doing, and I think I read something about them putting satellites in space for 5G networks as well.
So there's quite a few companies out there that are doing 5G.
Exactly, yeah, and so that's what I think that's probably why it's maybe that they're not the best company for it. Maybe that there's probably a lot of stuff I don't know around that market that I'm not realizing. I think.
Ericsson is another one that's doing it.
Is that like Sony Ericsson? Like the
Well,
are they related?
Sony Ericsson is a partnership.
Yeah, that's what I was
Ericsson is
wondering. Like,
different. Like,
okay, but Ericsson is the same company as the partner, like the.
yeah, I mean, when you see something that says Sony Ericsson, Ericsson is just half of that, and then Sony's
Okay.
the other half. They're like joint ventured in a way, because Ericsson and Sony are two separate.
Yeah,
ticker
I
symbols.
realized that. I just didn't realize like whether or not there's a completely like, because I know companies can sometimes have the same name, but like kind of different like titles at the end of them, or whether or not they're a corporation or whatever type of company they are.
Yeah. So I mean, 5G is the new thing, and if there's companies investing into it, I think long term, it's going to benefit them, because everybody wants to move to it, right? Short term, I don't know. Long term, it's positive, but short term, like I said, this market, man, it's so unpredictable. When you
Yeah.
think something's going to go up, it goes down. When you think something's going to go down, it goes up. Company has positive earnings, it falls. Company has bad earnings, it rises. Companies
Right.
file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and then they rip to the moon.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand
GameStop.
that. So
It's weird. Yeah, I don't know.
I hope this
That
isn't
I
the new norm.
haven't understood it either. What'd you say?
I said I hope this isn't the new norm.
Yeah, me too, because it's very unpredictable. I felt like a year ago I was definitely a better trader than I am now because of it.
Oh yeah, me too. I mean, I was successful majority of the time, even with options. I mean, with equity, I always made profit because I refuse to sell
Yeah,
at a
that's how I
loss.
am. Yeah. Like earlier when you said that about being negative for a while, and I was like, yeah, I've got like a few that and it's only like $10 or so. It's not much, but it's like I don't like it. Like I don't like seeing the red. So
Yeah, I
I
mean,
feel more comfortable when once it turns. And I know I have faith in some of these companies. I know some of them will rise. So
yeah, it's just a waiting game, unfortunately.
yeah, it's just a waiting. Yeah, exactly.
But with
Because
options,
AMD is green. I think AMC is just that's getting shit on because of the coronavirus stuff. AMC's good theater. Like everyone I've been to is at least good in the area. I haven't been out of state to theaters many times, but like I think that's a good company. I think they'll move back up. I think that's a good future investment.
could be. The question is, how long can they maintain paying that rent without revenue?
That's very true.
That's what makes it scary.
That
Same
is,
thing.
yeah. So I am worried about like what if somehow somehow shit gets stricter with the coronavirus and everybody has to stay inside even more, you know? They throw down curfews on everyone again or something crazy, which they have no reason to do it, but
Well, Biden said he was gonna, so we'll see what
he
happens.
did.
He's been talking
That's
about,
what I'm worried about.
locking
Yeah,
stuff up again and
that's what
quote
I'm worried.
unquote getting control of the coronavirus, but I don't know.
I
We'll
think
see what happens.
There's gonna be a third wave coming. I heard
Could
in
be.
New York at least.
I personally think that COVID's going to slowly stop being on the media's narrative.
I think a lot of people have been in contact with it, and a lot of our immune systems have beat it because like I was in close contact with my mom when she had it, and I'm fine. Like, not even joking. I definitely have come in contact with it because I was literally took her to the hospital, the ER, the night that she was at her worst, and like she's fine now, but like tests were positive for her, but they weren't for me in the same week, and I'm like, I got a different test than her. Like it wasn't as deep of a nostril swab. Like it was one of the it wasn't like all the way back to my whatever that would be called uncomfortable area, but yeah, like I think it's just like gonna it's based off of like whether or not you can survive it. Like it's just literally like it's if you don't live from it, you won't and if you don't have the healthcare, you can't it's just like you can't really prevent stuff like you can do your best, but like to me, it feels like immunity is the only way to survive that anyway. Like we're not gonna be able to just expect not to we can't just constantly take medicine forever.
Well,
For
my
everything.
whole point is the media has been pushing this whole COVID thing to get Trump out of office to make him look bad. And I think once Biden's in there, you're going to hear less and less about it because they want to prop him up.
That's probably true. I believe that.
And if anybody disputes that, they're lying to themselves and accepting something that is clearly truth, right? I mean, the media is very biased, and everybody knows it, even if they don't want to accept or say it. The media is there to make ratings and money and fear. They want to create fear through everybody. So it doesn't matter who they support or who they want in office, for example. All they care about is creating hysteria and fear amongst the people. And they don't report truth. They report things that are going to make you feel emotional. That's their job. Okay. Who's next?
Amen.
Hey. Neil, can you mute your mic, please? Arcia, did you have a question? Okay. Who else has questions?
Hi, can you analyze Zoom?
What's that?
Zoom.
What about it?
Ticker symbol ZOOM. Oh, sorry, ZN. Yeah.
What about it?
The earnings are coming. Then can it break 52-week high?
Will it break a 52-week high?
Yes, because the earning is coming.
It's potential. I don't know what estimated earnings is though. Need to see what estimated is first before you try to. Be honest with you, I would play the run up to earnings and be out of it before earnings.
I wouldn't bet on earnings for Zoom either. Like that seems scary with school being back in session and stuff, and it just being utilized a little bit less than summertime and all that.
I just don't personally. I don't do earnings plays because you might as well go play roulette in the casino.
It's too dangerous. Yeah, it's a good point. If you've got the money to gamble, I guess, or if you feel like you do.
So, who else has questions?
I was gonna ask if Zoom is coming up, but if you're not really optimistic about the earnings, I could play a strangle on it.
Well, I'm not. I don't like earnings in general for anything. I like the idea of playing the run up to earnings, but I don't like playing through earnings because you don't know what's going to happen with earnings. Like I said, it could be positive and it falls. It could be negative and it goes up. It does not make any sense. That happens. So I wouldn't play earnings itself. I would play the run up to earnings. Because that's just speculation in the sense that, oh, they're probably going to do good. And there's going to be a majority of speculation out there where people go in one direction. But as far as going through earnings, now you might as well go play casino.
True.
So, like I said, it's red or black on the roulette table. Okay, who else has questions?
Do you have any recommendation on a long call for Tesla?
I mean, buy at the money as close as you can.
And yes, in like 2-3 months. I do not own stock right now, but I wish to have a long call. I don't know if you got any type of recommendation, or I just go there and try to search the best. Or
I mean, it depends on how much money you're willing to put into it. That's really the main thing here.
oh, okay, and look at the open interest and volume, right?
Just open interest. You don't care about volume. I wouldn't bother with volume.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, who else has questions?
Hello.
Yes.
Hey, Hassan, I had a question regarding the I guess you could say, direction of the market. Obviously, you don't see into the future, but obviously, election has calmed down. But don't you think it's still uncertain since Trump, everything is into litigation right now? Do you think it's still going to be bullish or?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's bullish no matter what. I mean, unless it's the only thing that could make it not bullish anymore and uncertain is if he comes out with real solid evidence and it makes the election back up in the air, which could happen. If he's got enough, I think the deck is stacked against him, right? They've been trying to get him out since before he got in, and this whole time he's had, the Russia thing, the Ukraine thing. Now he got blamed for COVID, and all this stuff. They throw everything they can at him, and the whole litigation thing is that these battleground states, he won what he says, and now he's saying that there's fraud happening, right? And I've seen fraud as far as, even before Trump, I saw news about fraud where dead people are voting. People are voting 2 or 3 times. People are voting from other states. They moved and continue to vote in 2 different places. People buying votes. It's nothing new. Like, I've seen it before Trump. He's the only one that's actually been saying it out loud, on, as loud as you can be, honestly. If he's able basically to beat the deep state, then that's when I would say the market's going to become very wary and scary, and it'll do all kinds of weird, crazy stuff, most likely go down. But until that point, I see it going up. And like I said, the deck is stacked against him. I don't think he's going to be able to do it, personally. I don't think he's going to be able to beat it. He's just got too much against him. So, he only won the election in 2016 because they weren't expecting him to. They were thinking that it was a joke. They thought Hillary had it in the bag. And then they got surprised. Well, this time around, they were prepared. And let's just assume for a second that they did do fraudulent voting. They were very prepared for it. All the states that these things happened in, they have Democratic governors, right? I'm just connecting dots. But I don't really know. Like, I don't live there. I mean, I live in North Carolina, and I'm not sure that it's here in North Carolina. I think it leans Trump, but there's a lot of people that don't like him. So, I don't know how it is in these other battleground states. I couldn't tell you that, but I don't think he's going to beat it. He's just got too much against him. And if he does, I'll be very surprised. And that'll prove that he's got the most resolve out of anyone I've ever known in my entire life. So take it for what it's worth, I guess. But I don't think it's going to beat it. So expect the market to continue to be green. Long term.
Well, hopefully, if he's a real good man afterwards, if he really actually is trying to prove points, then he'll stay in politics and he'll be kind of not much of a whistleblower, but I think he will have an effect on politics more after this than he did before, which he always has. But I think now, hopefully, he'll be more prominent there in a way that will actually help a lot of people that didn't see it in a way too. Like, well, I'm not a huge supporter. Like, there are ways that he had, the taxes and stuff, lower taxes and all that. That's a good thing. I think, their sides, both sides have good, both sides should support solar things, certain green energy plans and stuff, but that doesn't happen. That one side's more about the money aspect, and one side's just more about control, I guess. I don't know. But then you're like, which one?
That's
Which
all
one is rich
debatable.
now?
That's all debatable, and that's
Yeah.
Not something that I will allow to be debated on this entire server, much less here. But what I will say is, Trump has his base, and he knows it. So, he's going to continue to be in the spotlight. So we'll see what happens. But anyhow, I don't even remember who was asking that initial question. Neil, is that all you? Did you have any other questions, Neil?
Oh no, that was it. I was just trying to figure out the general, direction of the market, even though that voter fraud came up, because I was pretty confused because I thought people would still be uncertain, but it looked like the market was like, okay, Biden won. Let's shoot up all these stocks.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the general consensus, right? That the media is saying it, everybody's saying it. It's just Trump and his lawyer team and supporters are saying that there's fraud, right? So again, it's elitist establishment, politicians, media, actors, Hollywood, all the famous people are already saying, "Oh, Biden won," right? There's still a couple of states out there that the votes aren't completely in, and Trump could still win it, right? But they went ahead and gave it to Biden. Whereas with Trump, he was ahead a lot more in some places, and they didn't give it to him. And I have my theories on all of that, but I don't really want to discuss it. Anyhow, who's next? Who else has questions?
Hi, Hostel. I just saw SQ. I mean, not SQQ. QQQ went up. It gapped up a lot. And I have a Google call. You think it will go up with it?
Well, it's tech, right?
Yes.
So probably.
All right.
But you're looking at after hours. After hours and market open hours are two different things.
Looking at the QQQ at today at 11 p.m.
Yeah, it's a nice gap. And I'm telling
Yeah,
you,
that's a
if
yeah.
tomorrow could be completely opposite.
You think so?
Don't let after hours fool you. Trust me. Do not let after hours fool you. Because
And
we're
that
trading options and market open hours. You cannot trade it after hours. Right? This is straight equity that's going in there. So you believe what you want. You can try to use things the way you want to use them as far as indicators, but I'm telling you right now, after hours and market open are two different things.
I don't know. I'm just speculating, really. I mean, I'm not. I'm not rushing to any judgment. Just that's a look. That's a good scene to look at. That's a view right now.
Well, I mean, speculation is just that.
Yeah.
So I can speculate Trump's going to beat the deep state. Doesn't mean he's going to do it, right? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can speculate that the roulette table is going to be black this time around instead of red. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see where I'm going with that? Like, it doesn't matter what it's doing right now in after hours. What matters is market open if you're trading options. If you're doing
Yeah.
shares, it's different. Shares you can play both sides. You can play both time frames. But with options, I would never ever pay to after hours. Only market open. That's what counts. That's what matters.
Yeah, it just on the trade floor, everybody's like cheering right now. So I was getting a little
Yeah.
optimistic, I guess.
No.
So
That's what people, to be honest, that don't know, that haven't been in the market for very long, that's what they typically do. They're trying to, they don't know when to not look at the market, right? They're in positions, guaranteed. They're in positions and they're looking at it because they're hoping that tomorrow's going to stay just like that or continue to do that. That's what people do that have positions over the weekend.
well, I do have a position.
So there you go.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just wanted to print because I mean, who doesn't? I don't. It just it makes sense to me a little bit since Biden is, obviously 9 out of 10 he's a winner right now. So if the market have a winner right now, there's no uncertainty. So I think they're gonna trade regular. That's how I'm basing it off of. But not to say I'm like right or anything. Just my rationale for what I think.
Well, again, speculation is one thing.
Yeah.
Actual market price action is another.
So I just wait till tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I wouldn't be trying to base anything off of what's going on right now. That's a bad way to do this. It's a bad way to do options. Like I said, if you're doing shares, different story. Options, I wouldn't even bother looking at after hours. So there's nothing you can do about it, and they know it.
I mean, it would probably just help me sleep better at night. Maybe I don't know.
You know what will make you sleep better? Don't look at it.
True. Yeah, I mean, I should just stop thinking about it. Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
Yeah.
if you have a problem in real life and there's nothing you can do about it, to continue to think about it, it's not going to help you. It's going to make it worse.
It's the only way I was able to make money in March when the market crashed. I just didn't look at my account, and next thing I knew, like 2 or 3 months later, AMD shot up, and I had a bunch of AMD at like $33 before it shot up.
Are you talking about shares?
Yeah, I had
Okay.
like 50 shares, I think. Yeah,
Well, yeah,
it was like,
shares. I'm fine with shares too. I held a share for like 3 years before I break even. I'm fine with that. It's just
yeah,
options like make me
yeah, because you have to be dedicated.
yeah.
I told you, get the trend direction right. Give yourself more time. You'll always win.
Could just be a bear and do cash secured puts all the time.
Yeah.
Every time.
Well, that's
I
not
could
that's
do that
not
too,
being a
yeah.
bear. That's being
I mean,
a bull.
not really. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can do it safely and like make easy money. Yeah, still ways to do it and make a lot of money. Yeah, I mean that's one of the safest ways to buy options I've heard anyway. Like especially people say always like new people should try those first.
That's selling options, by the way. Not buying.
Cash secured puts.
Yes.
What is cash secure put? That's just
Well, I mean, yeah, I guess technically, yeah, if you're actually selling it, but if you're assigned, then it's not, right?
Well, you're selling a put, which means you're bullish, right? But you have to sell it to open that position.
No. Like cash secured put would mean that you have the money to buy a put. Like, I'm so confused now. I was told that it's bearish.
It's not.
For short term bearish.
It's not.
Oh.
I do cash secured puts as one of my main strategies. I'm telling you right now, it's a bullish position, unless you want to own shares.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying though. Like,
but you don't do that to own shares. You do a
No,
cash secured put
I was saying like
because
if you're worried about the market crashing, basically,
but
like if
then
you're
you
worried
don't
about
want
it,
you
it's
don't
a
want
safer
a cash
strat.
secured put then if you're doing that. That's not what you want to do. You want to sell covered calls, or you just want to sell calls, or you want to do call credit spreads. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to do cash secured puts if you're trying to protect yourself from downside in the market because you're going to end up owning those shares for more than what it's going to be worth when the market tanks. That's not what you want. You want to be in a bullish position unless you want to own shares at a discounted rate, meaning you sell a cash put at support. You want the stock to go against you just a little bit, long enough for that thing to expire. You keep the premium, you own the shares, and then it goes up. Then you sell your shares. That's how you want it to go down. Or you sell a cash secure put and then it rips, and then you can exit that position. That's how you do a cash secured put. It's
Uh,
not it's not a bearish position by any stretch. That's like saying a put credit spread is bearish. It's not.
That's a hedge, right?
I think I think I did know about that, but I didn't know that like wow, okay. So I thought it was like one of those things where it's like short term bearish, long term bullish type.
Nope. Like I said, unless you want to own something, like there's a way to play cash secured puts where you can get something for a much cheaper price, own the shares,
That's
right?
probably where I'm misunderstanding it too. Is that's where I'm thinking that that's where the money is, I guess, that you're talking what you're referring to right now.
It's
That makes
definitely
all
not a bearish position though. 100% not bearish. Because frankly, if it were
Well, I didn't
me,
yet.
I would rather it not go against me and show me profit within a week, and I can sell or buy to close that position back and keep some of that premium that it paid me. I don't really want to own anything at this point, right? If I did do cash puts, I would do it on something I don't mind owning, but I don't want to own it.
Oh wow, okay. Yeah, duh. Okay, yeah. Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, that totally makes sense like what you mean by it being like in a bullish market entirely like yeah, you would want to own the shares because they're going to go up regardless like duh.
Excuse me.
I mean, that makes sense entirely. I was just thinking of like super long term, I guess though. But I don't know. Even then like yeah, that just makes more sense to do it that way.
I mean, no matter how you slice it, it's a bullish position.
Yeah, no, I understand what you mean.
Okay. Who else has questions?
When you sell cash secure put, would you like to like exit the position before the expiration date, or you just let the option expire worthless and you collect the full premium?
That's generally the idea. If, let's say, by the time expiration is coming around the corner and it's going up, it's in a bullish trend, you want to let that expire. You want to keep full premium on that. But I would say, if you start to feel like you're in danger, I mean, so there's a trick to cash puts. So the way I like to do cash puts is sell it at support, it go against me, right? And then as it's going against me, theta's decaying. Okay. And then so I like to do 30 to 60 days out. I need it to go against me for 2 weeks, a week to 2 weeks, and then start going back in the other direction. As it goes back in the other direction, it's going to start showing me a lot more profit. Whereas if it starts going in the direction I need it to, as soon as I get into the position, I'm not going to see much return. I need it to go against me for a little bit. And then as it starts to go back to the direction I need it to go, my profit's larger. Does that make sense?
Yes. So like basically, if you sell the put, like for example, like $700, and then if the stock keep going in the bullish trend, like the profit, like is like the maximum profit you can receive is 700, or it can go up more.
That's the max profit.
Okay.
So you would sell to open that position. They would pay you $700 premium. You can't get more than that. But
Okay.
here's the problem. If you sell a position like that and it instantly goes bullish, you're not going to see but maybe $50 premium or profit on that. So your position, so when you get into a position like that, it pays you the $700, but it's instantly negative because it requires theta 2 decay. Okay. So in that scenario, you sell a position, you get $700 premium, and then it starts to go in your direction, right? Let's say the stock is at $50 and it moves up to 52. You could sell it today or tomorrow and maybe make 20 bucks. The way I like to do it, I sell it at 50, it falls to 45. Okay. And for 2 weeks, it takes it 2 or 3 weeks to come back up. When it hits $50 again, I'm going to probably see $300 in profit. Right.
Okay.
So you want to get it. You want to get it when it's nearing support, strong support, and get into it a little bit early so that it goes against you for a little bit because you need that theta 2 decay. And as it goes against you for a week or two, that's perfectly fine. And in this scenario, it's still okay because that's something you don't mind owning. Okay, that's the number one thing you got to remember here is you don't mind owning that stock as shares. So as it goes against you, you're down. It's okay. But the moment it starts to come back up, even if it doesn't hit $50 strike, you're still gonna see profit. And you can still get
Okay.
out of that position with profit, even though it's in the money.
So
That
I just like buy to close the contract and exit the position, right?
correct.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Who else has questions?
How do you think SPY is gonna look tomorrow? Hostile.
I don't know, man. Short term's not my thing. Underrated. Underrated. Can
Alright.
you please mute your
Next
mic?
next couple months, how you feeling about it after this type of movement?
I think it'll be bullish for sure. I mean, historically speaking, November, December, January are bullish months.
Yeah, no, that's what I was thinking as well. I'm wondering if this is all just like a huge bull trap at the same time, though.
It could be. I don't think it is, but it could
Yeah,
be.
me neither. I'm almost thinking that they made a new support at the what's it called, like on the 4 hour at that like 352 level. I think they're gonna use that resistance and possibly after we reach all-time new highs, come back down and bounce off of that, or even bounce off that 345 already established support level. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. This is how I look at this.
Mm-hmm.
I got this support level down here at 320.
Mm-hmm.
The next one over here is at 323 or something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's creating higher lows. Okay. And
100%.
this high here at 358, it created a lower low, but it's broken through that. So if it stays above this 352 area, I'd be almost guaranteed to say that we're going to see it test 358, if not break it.
Let's
I
go.
agree. I agree.
So the key here to understand trend direction is higher highs and higher lows, or lower lows and lower highs.
Yeah, I feel like playing off those support resistance levels is just so huge, really undervalued in trading.
Oh yeah, 100%. And that is where I make most of my success.
Same, honestly. That and scalping.
honestly can't wait to liquidate most of my margin account because then I'm probably just gonna do nothing but Tesla shares and play
Hey,
off of support and resistance. I've been watching it for the
dude,
past 3 months.
that's awesome. Yeah, I remember talking to you about that. I mean, it has such consistent movements.
Right. And it's like I can trade that and make, I mean, if I put just 5 grand into it every trade, I can easily make 300 to 500 bucks every single time it does it weekly. That's how consistent
And
it
shoot,
is.
at that point, you're making about 80 grand a year. 80 plus, huh?
It's not too bad, huh?
100%, 100%, not too bad.
I mean, if people are worried about doing options, find one stock that is consistent, the trading
100%.
range. And then at that point, you can just throw 5 Gs at it every time.
That is very true, man. I agree with that. That's why I've been kind of messing around with shares lately too. I got some Roku shares with Tilio the other day and some Carnival shares after that last dip that they had.
Yeah, I mean, I really like
And
Tesla for
on
this,
the next resistance, I'll just sell it, make a
right?
nice little profit.
And just keep doing it. I mean, at some
Exactly.
point, Tesla's gonna. I think as long as you can determine trend direction and you know the higher highs and higher lows and all that stuff. I mean, look at this. I mean, all these points that I have highlighted here. I mean, frankly, I could draw out some more. And the other thing is, I was gonna hold Tesla um, shares in my IRA, my Roth accounts, to give me a solid bearing on where it's at. Byron, can you please mute your mic? And Gatsu, please mute your mic. Okay. Um, these points here are very easy to make money on. You know what I'm saying? Like, as soon as you see certain type of profit, you take it. Because as long as you got the trend direction right, you can play that weekly. Easy.
I agree with that. Also, I want you to check out a couple of these biotechs too on the long term. Just because, I don't know, this company Saba, kind of like Bib, um, they're
Go
making an
bib.
Alzheimer's drug. And this other company, well, I guess let's focus on Saba first. SAVA. Um,
Lower
but
highs.
yeah, so true. But they just had a pretty nice catalyst potential. I mean, I'm playing um based off of their news with their Alzheimer's drug. Um, I kind of noticed that these biotechs tend to kind of like play slightly differently than other companies just because they end up getting bought out by um, like bigger companies like Gilead and Lilly and
Right.
basically all those bigger biotech companies after they get an FDA approved drug. So I'm wondering if because of this whole COVID scenario and um, their drug coming out and they just like recently were having a run with like all the other biotechs the last week. So I'm just curious to kind of see what you think about the biotech. So like even look at this other company SUPN, and you'll see that they also spiked in this last week, even though they're not necessarily COVID related, but they are what's it called? Biomedicine or what is it? Biotech.
So,
Uh, SUPN.
what did you want me to look at for Sava
I'm
first?
just I'm oh for Sava basically like even though it did make a lower high with this type of news because from what I was researching into, they say if it stays above this $11 range, which is, it did dip below it, but it's trying to come back. That's a good range for it to stay above. Kind of like how you were saying with SPY with the whole 352 range, I think you were saying. Um, so basically, if it's able to keep that $11 range, like a lot of people are saying, do you think with this whole COVID scenario and all these pumps into biotech recently, if it'll continue making a run, basically?
I don't know, man. Um, I don't know much about it other than looking at the chart, and the chart tells me lower highs. So,
I feel.
it could consolidate with lower highs and maybe
I I
use that
think I
support
think you
level.
might like SUPN because they've only been going down for like since they've been around, um, and just recently they just broke kind of that trend. But yeah, that's basically.
SUPN. That's different. That's a different chart
Oh, well,
altogether.
look at yeah. I guess I was looking at it from weekly, like from since they've started. Because like they've been up to like $60 worth of a stock.
I mean, this one's
Like,
definitely very much more bullish than the last one you just showed me.
and one of the bigger reasons is because just today they had an ADHD medication, which I think I might get if they approve it. Um, but no, they just got an ADHD medication. I forgot what it was called exactly, but um, if they get it approved, it's gonna be the first ADHD medication that's came out in about 10 years. So, or at least, yeah, a decade's 10 years, right? Yeah, that's what they said, a decade. But yeah, so that's their big catalyst at the moment. That's why they've been having a really big bullish run the past week.
Yeah, I mean, um, again,
What happened?
I don't know anything about any of these stocks. All I can tell you is what I'm seeing on the chart, and this
I,
one's broke multiple resistance levels.
heck yeah, that's good to hear from me. And I can see those are your resistance levels, right? The lines crossing down.
No, those are standard
Or
deviation.
oh, okay. So is it the
Look at
ones
the
on
volume
your right
chart.
then?
Look at the
The
volume
like
on the
the
bottom. That's one thing you need to pay attention to. It's got a big pump and then it starts to die off. You see that?
mhm. Yeah.
That could indicate some kind of reversals coming.
I feel that. At the same time, Um, I feel like it died off mostly because of like the news of today. Like they're just anticipating what's gonna happen. Because even I couldn't find any of the news, so I'm basically gonna figure out in pre-market. I always hedge anyways. I got a one put to go along with my calls that I got on Friday, just in case it popped or dropped. Um, but uh, but yeah, I don't know. I just saw that at one point they were a $60 plus stock, so I feel like they could either lose half their value in stock if this goes poorly and they don't get FDA approved, or if they do get FDA approved, then it could potentially double their stock like it did for Bib.
Yeah, I mean, the first question you need to ask yourself is why did they drop from 60?
Oh, I mean, from what I looked into, they've been doing all their development and research into this drug, and I mean they would just kept failing basically because it takes a long time to get an FDA approved drug, like years and years.
Right.
So they just were like struggling in their efforts with that. Um, but I mean they rebounded really nicely after the whole COVID crash. Um,
Well, I mean, it's part of that industry, right? It's part of the industry as
yeah,
far as, like Moderna, Pfizer, etc., Gilead. So it's going to benefit from that alone.
Hmm.
But being that they've had the news that you're talking about, that's totally beneficial for them. And once they start releasing the drugs and people are buying it, that's going to make the company go up.
Hmm.
Right? And they're going to have it. I mean, it looks like let's see. It looks like they got really solid EPS. I mean, that's a triple 3 times, and this previous one is 2 times. So, and here's a good example of what I was saying earlier. Earnings on this last earnings in July is double EPS estimate, and then it tanked and continued downward, right? Lower
Oh yeah,
highs,
and
lower
that's why like
lows.
I always hedge anyway, so it ends up saving me. But
Well, here's the
but
thing
yeah,
though.
I always.
It's
Mhm.
it's honestly. Let me look a little further back. That's COVID. I mean, it's at support. It's bounced off of support. If you look at this particular area, right there. Oh, shit.
Oh yeah.
You see that? That's
Mhm.
support. And it bounced off COVID support again. And now it had. So I almost believe that they're strategic in how they announce these things. Because I
Yeah.
guarantee you
100%.
they're going to be going up and they're going to breach at least $24 area.
That's what I was thinking too,
25,
honestly.
24, 25 area. I
Actually,
wouldn't doubt that for 1 second, especially because, like you said, what they just released their news and all that.
Mhm.
It,
And we'll
it's
find out about the news on Monday. I think only stock shareholders could get like news about it. That's why I was kind of thinking about getting shares just to get on the conference call on this Sunday. But I mean, I don't know. At the same time, if they would have went down, I would have been bummed.
right. Well, I
for those
mean,
conference calls, you can get links to go into them. You actually don't necessarily need to be a shareholder. Sometimes they'll publish the link via social media.
Your
But
mic's lagging for me, low man.
can you hear me better now?
No, it still kind of sounds a
I
little
can
bit
hear him.
staticky.
What he's saying is
Oh, maybe it's just me then.
could be. He's saying that sometimes companies publish their links on like Twitter or something so that you can
Yeah.
join the conference call and not be a shareholder.
Yeah, and
Oh,
typically
that's
they do find out about like whether or not they did pass the FDA approval a couple of days. I think it's about 3 or 2 business days prior to it being unveiled. And then that's when they decide if they want it to be released, whether it being Friday or Monday, just to boost that hype. Like I've played with a lot of pharma and biotech companies. A really good website you should check out is called BioCatalyst. Such a good
yeah,
website.
that's what I use. I have a subscription for them.
Yeah, the subscription is amazing.
Good info.
Appreciate that.
I think it's totally
Yeah,
in
I've
a
just been
bullish
looking at a lot of
position.
biotech lately, man. Biotech looks nice for these next couple months. Like PFE,
Moderna looks good too.
IMMU, yeah, Moderna. Yes, sir.
I'm in that one.
To be honest, I'm getting into a couple of smaller Canadian companies. Like I'm in this one company called PKK.cn. My average price, I'm buying shares in them. Average price is about 70 cents. Right now, they're at about $1.50.
Oh, nice. You already made 100% on that shit. That's always a goal for me.
Yeah, yo, honestly, one of my better trades, like, because the thing is, is I really like long-term trading. Like that's just one thing that I just enjoy, just knowing the fact that I have safe money just sitting there that I'm not going to spend stupidly. And I actually invested in Upwork, which I was very confident in. Like I just, I had a lot of friends doing due diligence with me, and we just kept on looking into it. And I actually got 1750 calls for them for January 15th. They're at about $29 right now.
Oh, sick.
Yeah. So I'm up like 450, 500% on those.
That's fucking sick.
Yeah. So it's been pretty good.
Oh yeah, Upwork just had that huge fucking rise.
Yeah, bro, they've been flying. I think my average price is like 210 on those, and they're at like maybe 12 or 13.
Jeez, that's nice.
Yeah, it's a bust.
Biotech can be dangerous too, unfortunately.
Yeah, very.
That's
Because
one of
the
those.
thing is
A
with
lot of them are
biotech
small
is,
caps,
yeah.
so that's why they got such a huge upward potential. But
Mhm.
like Ram was saying, is it takes so long for them to get approvals for some of these
Yeah.
things.
The thing
So
is even when they do get approved, that hype, it typically doesn't last more than like the morning of. Like after that morning, it'll usually drop a lot. If it doesn't, then if it maintains that level, that's usually a really good sign for the company.
yeah, that's what I was saying as far as the last one
Yo,
that Ram.
with Sava, yeah, that's
No,
what
was
was
it?
worrying
I
about.
don't think it was
Yeah,
Sava.
no,
No, it was the other one.
SCPN.
Supin, yes. Supin,
Really?
Supernus. Look at
Oh,
it.
I thought. Oh, like the bullishness, or
Yeah, I mean it broke.
oh yeah,
It
all
broke
those
this
resistances.
resistance. It broke this resistance, and it's getting through support levels. Um, it broke this resistance level, or actually, it's right at it. And that's got multiple levels on it, right? I mean, that's where it's at. It's got this level, these little small ones, these small ones. So there's a lot
Yeah.
of resistance there, but it's not strong resistance like say this point right here.
Hmm.
But because there's so much of it, that makes it a little bit stronger. So once it breaks through that and stays above it, so let's say it breaks through and hits about right here, that's still a very strong bullish position because everything else above it is just a bunch of little small spots, right?
It's a good
Only
point.
only this one at 25 and some change, 25.70. That's where you gotta really see what it's gonna do. And even then, this 27.20 spot, I don't think that's very
Hmm.
strong at all.
Yeah, me neither.
I mean,
I
just
agree.
one body and then it disappears, right? This is a strong area, but this is not. Right? It doesn't have that slow
Yo,
cascading thing going for it. It's just like, sky rise, boom, fall. It's not like this where it's like a mountain. It's got two sides to the peak. This one's a skyscraper. This one's a mountain.
that's why I've been like just kind of excited for this news. See what happens with it. I'll see it in pre-market.
I
When
think
they're
it's in
gonna
a
get
good
FDA
position.
approved?
What happened?
When they're gonna have the FDA meeting?
Shit, my internet's really bad. Say that again. I can't really hear.
Do you know what date or what time are they gonna
Oh,
have the FDA meeting?
it was today.
So they already had it.
What happened?
So it's probably pretty late to get in it. Then.
Well, it just depends. I mean, we'll see how it reacts in pre-market in the morning. But if you go to that Catalyst site, it'll show you a bunch of other potential FDA approved drugs for these next couple months. Um, I had just randomly saw these guys on Friday and got into position just because I wanted to look more into biotech, and they were the only ones that had a FDA approved drug for this weekend. So I just kind of looked into them and, kind of played both sides just in case, regardless of what happened. But I'm definitely a
Got
little
you.
bit more on the bullish side, just because from looking at it on the long term, it looked nice.
On that drop, I don't know what day or time that is, but it's in line with the cursor. Do you know why that drop happened?
It was probably like wait, which day?
It's just where the cursor is, where Hostiles Mouse is up
Right
there.
here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like, is
on
that
9.
in any
I think that
relation
was an
to the
earnings
FDA
day.
approval? Oh,
Well,
No, no, no.
earnings did well though,
Yeah, I mean they did well, but I mean just
just like
because they
here.
did. Oh, they spiked on earnings. Oh, that's right. So they must have had some type of drug, because I remember looking into that day and it said they had good earnings but still fell from it.
Yeah, right here. This is
yeah.
17th.
What day
Interesting.
was it?
Yep,
In September?
August 17th.
August?
Honestly, this week I really want to watch Cannabis. Cannabis is going to be moving nutty, in my
It's going to be
opinion.
very short term, in my opinion.
Oh yeah, I was looking at Aurora, and short term wise, I think they could go up to $12 to $14, and then long term wise, I think they're valued at maybe 7 max.
I can see that.
Yeah, but that's my personal opinion on them. Main reason being that, like, even though they're a legal company that is serving whatever quantities, they're still in the process of going bankrupt. And although cannabis is being legalized, that's not going to change the fact that their bunk weed isn't going to be selling.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier before you joined. I'm pretty sure you weren't in here. Somebody was asking about cannabis, and I was saying until cannabis becomes legalized federally, number one, and then majority of the states are making it recreational, it's not going to be something that you should be touching as far as stocks goes. If you get into some stocks, get them at really low lows, and they're going to be
Yeah.
very, very long-term plays.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I was thinking Aurora more so I was going to play puts, long-term puts. Like, if they do reach that 12 to 14 range, like, I wouldn't mind grabbing like late 2021 or 2022 puts.
I wouldn't go that far.
No?
I mean, you could. I'm thinking more like 6 months, 3 to 6 months, because like I
Okay.
said, it's gonna pump, right? And if it hits that, you got to give it some time to fall.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't think it's gonna take that long to fall. So really, I guess the question you need to ask yourself is, how long is it gonna take to fall once it hits that number you're thinking it's gonna hit,
Yeah, exactly.
and then give
Okay.
yourself double that time.
Just to play it safe? Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Double or triple. Triple might be a little too far, but maybe
Yeah.
somewhere in between double and triple.
Okay.
So
Keep
like
that in mind.
half of what double and triple is. Okay.
Yeah.
Good talk. Who else? Who else has questions?
Have you guys talked about tech yet?
Not really. A little bit. Some here and there.
Yeah. How you feeling about Amazon? I feel like they could be making some big moves soon.
Go Amazon.
They could. I don't know though, man. That one's seems to be in that middle range area again.
Yeah.
And I don't like being anywhere near anything that's in the middle of its range.
Yeah. I don't know. When I was looking at them earlier, like using Keltner channels, I don't know. I felt like the 400 range isn't too like out of reach, like the 3-400.
Oh no, not at all. It's at 30. Let me see what it's at right now. I mean, that's only $90. I mean, think about that in percentage, right? 90 divided by 3311. That's 2.7%. Not hard at all for Amazon to hit that.
Let's go.
Somebody's got Amazon.
I have
Boy,
Amazon
Nico,
hostel.
bro.
Let's get it, brother.
Nico's trying to make another 5K to
Dude,
30K challenge.
dude,
He
if I
has
hit
like
a
20 contracts to get hostile. He has like 20 of them. Jesus. Madman.
dude, let's go.
You're playing dangerous games.
Oh no.
Hey, but he
Hey,
hit
he's been
though.
winning so far though. You can't be mad.
Wait, hostel. So you're telling me like I only need like $36 to cover my data over the weekend? That's possible, right? Because I mean the futures are like ripping right now.
I mean, again, like I was telling somebody earlier, futures aren't what market open is. I don't want to rain on your parade, but it's basically a coin toss with futures.
Right. But I mean, I'll be in profits if it's over 33.50.
There you go. And that's not hard for Amazon. I'll be
Yeah,
honest, that is not hard at all. That's
I've seen
less than
Amazon up.
2.7%.
Yeah, I've seen Amazon up like $100 pre-market.
I mean, it happens. Like
Yeah,
$100 for Amazon's nothing.
I know.
So, damn, 20 contracts with Amazon? Shit.
Yeah, I know.
They got some money in there.
Either I'm gonna be Cardboard Nico or Hotel Nico.
Is that why your name's Hotel Nico? You trying to buy a hotel with all that option money?
No. I told
Hey,
no, I
that'd
told
be a
that
smart investment, bro. That's
no,
all I'm saying.
no. I told you guys, right? I was named after the Hotel Nico in the Philippines, bro. That's
Oh,
where I
that's
was made.
right. That's
My
right.
parents told me like when I turned 18, they're like, "That's where we made you." I thought it was like, oh, I was like, all right.
Savage.
Thank you, mom. I thought it was like, I mean, it's a Japanese name. It means like a cute one or something like that.
That's
But then they're like,
funny.
the real reason why we called you Nico was that's where we made you. I was like, fuck.
In a cute hotel, bro. Hey.
Dude.
I'm starting
Yeah,
to
I
think
hope.
that Motel Nico sounds better. No,
Well, let's see
I
if it
hope
hits.
your Amazon does well, man. Seriously, I hope
Yeah,
everybody's plays do well.
yeah. I
Yeah,
hedged it
I
with
don't know about
SPY
Cal,
puts.
bro. He was a bear this Monday, man.
Oh man, you
Oh
should
yeah,
hear Cal
except for
hostile.
Cal. Yeah, I hope his stuff crashes.
Cal's been a bear since September, man.
Yeah, he messaged me and was like, "So you think the market's gonna be red this week? Like, what are your feelings?" Because I think it's gonna be
Dude, Cal's
red.
such
And
a bear. I can't handle him sometimes. I
Hey, we
hate the
need him
bear
around
shit.
though.
Is
he's
he
like
here right
Sometimes we
now?
need a little bear in our lives.
he's like a Debbie Downer.
Bruh. Everybody needs their Yogi Bear, you know?
Oh
I
man.
feel that.
Negative
feel
Nancy over there.
Bro, we'll be talking about like, oh yeah, I feel like the market's gonna be bullish, and then Cal's like, I don't know, man. My claws say different.
I know he wants another Great Depression, man. I mean,
Bro.
He puts them butterflies in your stomach. I don't know. I mean, I think short term we could see red, but I think long term, at
Yeah.
least the next couple of months, it's gonna be
Yeah.
it's gonna break highs. I think.
I hope so,
I
Hustle. That
agree.
sounds good.
Yo, what do you think about the trade desk, like TTD? I feel like they're gonna have to fill that gap down soon, like
What is
sooner or
it?
later. But trade desk TTD.
Oh, I heard of him.
Yeah, like I feel like they're gonna have to fill that gap down just because Like I don't think
Jesus.
weeklies would be the right play, just because like that data is just gonna eat you alive.
Shot up for its earnings,
I
I
mean, if
think.
you're swinging, yeah, but and if it's
Yeah.
high, if you're in some high premium.
I just feel like this was just a bit of an overreaction by the market.
So you got puts.
I
Well, I
don't have
mean,
puts. I'm thinking about grabbing some. I'm just wondering, you guys thinking about it? Just get the ball rolling. Just get a different set of view on it.
estimated EPS was 5 cents.
Mm-hmm.
Its actual was a 127.
Yeah, but
That is a
like you could
huge
say the same
percentage
thing about
difference.
Rocket, right? Like RKT, they made crazy earnings. Like they beat their earnings by a ridiculous amount, but they still ended up like shitting the bed last earnings, right?
What was their estimated?
I'll be honest, I don't want to give you the wrong number. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I know that they crushed it.
I think
And their earnings are coming up again actually soon, I think.
yeah, it is. What day is that? 10th, tomorrow.
Oh shit. I just posted like a list of events. I remember seeing that in there.
I think you're gonna see this TTD fall.
Yeah, right.
I mean, even though its earnings are, I mean, even last time its estimated earnings, it crushed it.
Mhm.
0.008 and the actual was 0.92. That's a huge amount of percentage difference. So, and then look what it did. It fell. And then let's look at
Yeah.
this one here. 0.087 actual is 0.9, so it went up and it kind of just went sideways, down a little bit, but sideways. This is a huge increase though.
Yeah, like that's nutty. Like I was looking at I think it was like 700 puts, and they were going for about $1 each, which isn't too bad. I can't remember how much time they were, but it could have been a weekly or it might have been 2 weeks out.
December 18th is too far. Monthly of November is not ideal either. And it's got no open interest.
Yeah.
It's ass. Weekly is probably the closest. The front week is probably not. That's ass too. Man, I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole.
No.
I mean, there's no open interest. Look,
That's
it's just zeros.
Yeah.
I wouldn't touch this. So the monthly, the front month, which is November 20th, for puts, all zeros.
Yeah.
Right until you
Wait,
get
why is
somewhere
there?
down here at 600,
Yeah.
which is 365, 650 is 180. That's awful.
Yeah. I didn't even book that.
I wouldn't touch that. I mean, you do what you want, but personally, man, I don't like that.
When the open interest takes into account calls and puts on both sides, right?
What takes into account buy to open and sell to open.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't. So the call side and the put side are separate, but buying and selling to open, it throws
All
those
get
in.
put into open interest.
Correct.
Gotcha. Good to know. Good to know.
Okay. Does anybody else in here got any questions?
Hostile, look at Bib.
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 We could have been millionaires, Hostile.
Dead.
We could have been millionaires, Hostile.
No, I don't want to hear about Bib. Oh, no. My
Me and
millionaire
Nico would
dreams.
have.
What is it that you want to discuss?
BIIB.
Oh,
my
two eyes. Okay.
Just look at this. Oh my God, Hostile. Like on Saturday, like this week, I was like, dude, let's go into Bib, and we didn't.
Bro, we went. We asked. Oh,
Oh my
I think we
god.
told Hostel about this.
I
How
told
we
you guys, man. I told you guys if you
Hostel.
want to
Imagine
play
no.
like
But
something,
this was after the bib scenario when we told you
imagine
guys.
like your $5 would have been 1,600. Just imagine that. Like
that's what I'm trying to
what?
say. Like, if you're nervous about getting into something
But it,
and the
okay,
contracts
but
are cheap,
Hostel. How come? Like even Tilio said it was a super easy play. Yeah, he usually gets into plays so ahead of time, but he wanted it to bleed more, and he wanted to get in on
Yeah.
Thursday. That just didn't make sense.
I
to me.
asked him like midday Tuesday hostel. I was like, hey, can I get into some bib calls now? And he's like, oh, it might bleed more. So I kind of held off. And then Wednesday came and that thing shot up. Like, oh.
So it just threw me off. I was like, he's usually like on it, like especially with the play like this, I mean,
well, look,
even getting
let
in
me
on it.
ask you this: how much did the contract cost? $5 or 5 cents?
You would have been filled at 5.
5 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bro, you could have got $50 worth.
Imagine
But
like
that's what I'm
just
trying to say. Like
oh my
even
god.
Tilio didn't get on it. That's what I'm confused about. Like I don't know why Tilio like wanted to wait
$100
on
would
it.
have got you
I
like
was like
16
tripped out.
16,000.
That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. When something is cheap like that, fuck
Get it.
do it. Just put 500 or 100 bucks,
Uh,
50 to 100 bucks in it.
Sounds like a lotto call.
It is.
Nah, it wasn't a lotto for us because we studied it.
We actually knew it was gonna pop or drop.
Yeah.
$100.
Yeah, we all knew it.
Again,
still have
especially
boys.
especially if you've studied it and you feel a certain way about it and
Yeah.
it's cheap.
But he got
Go
mad at
for
us
it.
when he called him out on it after. He was
I
like,
know.
"You guys think I don't play bib?" And I'm like,
It's all
"What?"
it's all
I'm
Nico's
like,
fault. It's all Nico's fault.
yeah, he kept blaming Nico about it.
It's
We
probably
actually
messing with
saved
you.
him though because he thought it was next week when we brought it up to him. He thought the thing was for next week, and then Nico was like, "No, it's this Friday," and he's like, "Okay, well if that's the case, let's just wait till Thursday." And I was like,
Yeah.
"I'm not waiting till Thursday ever
But you know,
again."
hostel, like if we get filled on bib puts because they didn't get their FDA approval.
Oh, that is also
Because
true.
it got halted all Friday. So if we get filled on some bib puts,
How much is
Yeah,
bib
but
puts?
we'll see if that happens. Well, I mean, shoot, you could
What
probably
what
get
expiration date are you talking about?
next week
this week. It's gonna
that thing's gonna
13?
drop like
for
below
the.
like 170 area.
I'm gonna do it for what's it called?
If it's cheap, let's get it, guys.
It
I'm gonna
didn't
do
look
it
cheap.
for the 13.
It's just a few
Don't even look
$100.
better.
Ain't no 5 cent contracts
Well,
in this one.
it's gonna drop.
I don't see nothing like that. Let's shit. $100 at
Imagine.
205, but that spread is retarded.
I know.
What's the November
Man.
20th one look like?
I mean, oh yeah, what the heck? Look at those spreads. That's actually insane.
Yeah, that's bad. Look at that.
That's
780,
crazy.
1450.
But look
Holy
at that
crap.
open interest though. 1,000 on 205 puts. There's some people in the 150s.
Yeah, dude, because it was either gonna if they don't get it, it's gonna be 170 area.
Bro, look at how many people got the 300 puts, man. 2,000.
That's crazy.
You mean
It's
the
expected to
calls?
drop.
I mean, realistically though, like, I mean, if it
Those are
drops that
calls.
much.
Talking about the 300 strike, 2,743 open interest.
The 300 puts?
The
Oh, is that all
puts?
calls?
Is that calls?
The
Hostel?
left side is calls.
Oh.
It's
I'm
just,
looking at
it's
the
just
right
in the
side.
money. The right side doesn't have 2,000. The right side is 433.
On mine it only has one open interest.
Oh, I think you're looking at
Oh,
November
you're looking at
13.
I'm
November
looking at November
13.
13.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah. Ooh.
You should get in on us with a hostel.
Not
if we find
for
it if we find a cheapie.
Yeah, okay.
Now there's not gonna be any cheapies though. I don't think.
That $5 would have
Let-
been golden.
Y'all should have instead just start asking me. How's that? And I'll be like, $5? I don't give a
Let's
shit.
go.
All right, you got it, hostile.
Oh, man.
You got it.
But
Man,
this
I
is
would have
what
paid.
this is like. Are y'all looking at this like early morning, like when the market opens, or?
No,
Yeah.
we.
Well, I mean, if it
Oh
drops
yeah, 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 yeah.
pre-market.
Yeah, unless it's
But I
freaking.
think it's gonna open pre-market.
Oh
Honestly,
yeah, dude, it's gonna open
it's gonna
pre-market.
open
And
pre-market.
I'm
Not give
like,
any of us a
They
chance.
halted like all Friday and after hours as
Yeah.
well. So we might see like a drop.
But honestly, I'm more focused now on the COVID vaccine. I'm more focused on like PFE and mRNA.
For $5, bro? Come on,
That's too late, bro. It's too
I
late.
told you,
That's
I'll throw away $50 without
That would
even
have been
thinking about it.
$16,000 right there, Hostel.
That's what I'm saying. I'll throw away $50.
$5
Like,
grand would have made 1.6
I
million.
know, Hostel. Oh my god.
Talk about FOMO, bro. That's the only time I've ever FOMO'd in my
Oh.
life, dude. Like FOMO'd hard, dude.
Oh.
I mean, I was at the grocery the other
Every
day, and I gave this lady $75. Well, I bought her groceries because she was hungry, and I'm like, $50?
Oh,
Fuck
look
out
at
of here! All day long.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's good stuff, Hostel. That's good stuff. Yeah, if you find another cheapy play like that, we'll get you in.
Yeah, just let me know. But I'll warn you, I'm not normally awake early. But since I've been hitting the gym though, I'm kind of up by like
all right.
10 a.m. or something like that.
10.
All right.
That might not be quite the time frame you guys are looking for, but
I can't wait to wake up and look at the futures in the morning.
You could look at it now.
I know, but I can't wait to wake up and look at them.
Oh.
I've been looking at them since 6 o'clock tonight.
I know, dude.
y'all gotta stop that. Wake up and look at it at 9 a.m.
I'll wake up and look at 4 a.m.
That's the only time y'all should be looking at futures.
I just like to see a little green before I go to bed. Wake up with the smell.
Yeah, but so what if you see green before you go to bed and wake up and it's all red? Then what?
Yeah, I've seen it like super red before. Yeah.
Daybreaker.
Yeah, assumption is the mother of all fuck ups. That's what they say.
It's actually it makes an ass out of you and me.
Bro. Oh man.
Yeah, Confucius said that.
What up, guys?
Yo.
Hey, Mario.
Miss anything?
Well, where's Luigi?
They could have been millionaires, Mario.
Where
is
we could have
Luigi?
been millionaires, Mario.
Millionaires.
Millionaires,
Bro, I'm
Soon
so
though.
pissed
Soon.
about
We're,
that.
we're still
Dude,
gonna
I'm-
be millionaires.
Bro,
What up,
that
Ram?
bib call is gonna haunt me forever, Ram. That
Bro.
shit's gonna haunt me forever. That was our Millie.
What's bib?
Fuck. What is
Nah.
bib? Ah.
Bro, what is it?
I never heard of it.
Forget about it.
Never
Forget
heard
about
of
it. It's in the past.
it. When it's no November and you're still going strong. Hey, VIB would have changed that real quick, dude. That's all I'm saying. And then November would have been over.
Bro, I would have
Nico,
trading if we hit bib, dude. Fuck.
How much you got in Amazon?
Oh, dude, don't tell him. Don't tell him.
I have 20 of those 3,500 calls.
What how much is that?
Like 20 grand.
Like 20 grand.
Nico's
Man,
big ball.
if that hits like 100 grand tomorrow, I'll be happy.
You could have
Oh
put
my
you
God,
could have put
Nico, you
1,000
greedy
of that
motherfucker.
into BIB and
I
made-
know, man.
That's what I always say
Damn,
too.
bro.
Oh man.
Ah.
Fucking bib, dude.
Come on.
You guys are
Tw-
gonna
hey,
make me. I'm never gonna
20,
hear the end of
20,
bib. I swear
20
to God.
grand would have been fucking 6 mil.
don't even say it.
6 mil, bro.
Dude. Cheapies, bro.
Let's be honest though, you wouldn't have been able to
Yeah,
buy that much
yeah,
or even
yeah.
sell it
True.
had you bought it.
100%. 100%.
Dude.
Could
The
have bought
5,000 one
shares.
that one did happen. Someone sold 5,000 worth of bib for
Oh
mil,
yeah, Hostel.
1.6
That day when
mil.
it went up, a guy got like 2.4 million for buying like
Someone
far
even
out.
far out the money. Yeah.
Yep. Some guy got far out the money. He got paid like 843,000. Like, come on.
That shit was crazy. All I know is that I'm hitting the next biotech,
Yeah, we'll find the next one, guys.
and we'll let you know, Hasta.
You do that.
I'm gonna have PTSD about bib for a while though. God
Whoa.
damn.
Jed didn't even look at it with us.
What do you mean?
Hasta.
You guys were telling me that Saturday. You guys were telling me that Saturday.
Hey,
I
dude,
got
I told our group.
I just messed with you.
I told our group about Bib, man. We
All
didn't
of us,
take it, bro.
bro.